What's good? What's good? What's popping, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz City podcast. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. I've been gone for like a week. For a week, you know, I would have really kept y'all up to date with everything that was going on, especially this past weekend. But I was in Dallas with my girl for her birthday, so like none of that stuff was going. Like I wasn't even going to interrupt the trip. From what's been going on. But I've been paying attention, and I really can't wait to see how y'all feel about this, man. Shout out to Yogi Da Vinci. Black people always like, hey, nah, listen, man. I was trying to get things set up for for moms and everything like that. But we good. We good. We only a couple minutes late. We only a couple minutes late. So look, I'm gonna share my thoughts with y'all. Um, my boy Chris McCray, Jordan Hatton, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to y'all for being on time. Cause y'all talking about me not being on time. We only got 50 something people in here, and I know I got the word out earlier. So everybody need to get up in here. But listen, I'm gonna give my thoughts on everything that happened. Because it's important to put things into perspective. And I know everybody was so full of emotion when we really found out that Prime ain't coming back after the Celebration Bowl. So naturally, when you say things out of anger or out of disappointment, you end up not having the best takes, right? Because this is all coming from emotion. So I'm like, okay, even though I would love to talk about this now with people, I'm gonna let this sit, I'm gonna let this marinate, I'm gonna think about it, and then we gonna talk about this when I get back home Sunday. Now here we are. Now here we are. All of y'all broadcasting at the same time. Listen, that's happening a lot lately. I ain't. Hopefully, I ain't getting in nobody's way. That ain't my intention. But everybody talked about it, and I'm the last to do so. So listen, we got to get into it. Now, when I'm done, I want y'all to call in. I want everybody to get a chance to call in and let me know how they feel about this. I need to hear it. So I'll open up the call lines when I'm done, and we'll get right into it. But let's start because I know y'all feel some type of way. So listen, man. The first thing I got to say about this is that unfortunately, all good things come to an end. It's just reality. All good things come to an end. Y'all accomplished a lot in these 2.5 seasons, though. You went undefeated in SWAC play for 2 consecutive years. You were 12-0 this season. You got out to a good start in the spring season when most of y'all talent wasn't even eligible. You guys reached extraordinary heights when it comes to social media and the internet and the interaction that you got and the notoriety that you got. You guys reached extraordinary heights. So that's something to hang your hat on. On top of that, man, let's see how I get this coming out the way. On top of that, 2 back-to-back SWAC championships. Back-to-back SWAC championships. You're going to have another Celebration Bowl appearances. That's 2 back-to-back appearances. I mean, man, y'all accomplished a lot. Y'all accomplished a lot, and y'all should be very proud of what you had because before y'all had this marriage with Prime, things weren't going the best. Y'all were still great loyal fans. Things weren't going the best, so you got the experience winning at a high level, and you got to see some historic things that we are most likely not going to see again in college football. So let me just say that, right? Everything just doesn't last forever. Good things don't last forever, unfortunately. Now, Ashley Robinson is not stressing. I need y'all to know that. And I know this because I've talked to people. Ashley Robinson ain't stressing. You see, this is the same man who was genius enough to give Coach Prime his shot when everybody, including those schools in the PWIs, in the Power Fives, thought that he was just a self-loathing person, that he's just all about himself, and it's just going to be the Prime show. We don't really want that circus around our program. Ashley Robinson was the only one to say, I'm going to give this man a shot. He saw the vision. He saw the vision. We credit Prime for what he's done, and rightfully so. But it has to start with Ashley Robinson for being smart enough to take a chance on that man to get him at y'all school because it's paid dividends. And if you ask me, you got a lot out of the trade. But what I mean by Ashley Robinson isn't stressing is that he's working right now. See, and I love that about him. I'm not waiting I'm not waiting until after the Celebration Bowl. I'm not gonna try to hold on to what we had. No, no. You wanted to go. I get it. I love what you've done for me. You gonna always be my brother. I know him and Prime. They cool, regardless of how things happen. They cool. They gonna always be brothers. It's no hate there. However, I got a program to run. And I think it's kind of like that. That it's kind of like the song that y'all played during the SWAC championship, right? One monkey don't stop no show. I love you. You're my brother. I got a program to look after. I got to keep this momentum going. So go do you. Go do you. It was no hate. But what I want to tell you about Ashley Robinson was that there's a few names that not only are they shooting their shots with, oh, no, they ain't. They talking. They talking. Now, some of these guys are very big names in the football world. Not college football, not just college, not just NFL. No, they're very big names in football. Guys who might not have the exact same impact as Coach Prime when it comes to recruiting, but you best believe will still out-recruit the majority of these SWAC coaches that are in the SWAC right now. Oh, no, they've been talking. Y'all AD been working. Know that. So please just have faith in him. Just have faith in him and know that he's going to do what's best to keep this momentum going, because nobody wants to lose what you have right now. You don't have Coach Prime, but Jackson State is still a very desirable job in this market. A very desirable job. Y'all don't have to beg nobody. People going to be coming to y'all. You got the facilities to work with now. You got the 30 to 45,000 people in a stadium on a weekly basis, $60K on big games. You got that going for you. Nice uniforms. Y'all are really good. Nice facilities, new locker room, new player lounge. Y'all are fine. Let those candidates come to you. But AD, just know y'all AD been working. He was shooting his shot. Again, he ain't stressing. And I think when I think about this, how this has transpired between Coach Prime and Jackson State, it's kind of like, Jack Prime was your girl, right? Jackson State, y'all was together. Y'all in Prime, y'all together. Everything good. You got a nice little relationship going. And all of a sudden, here comes Prime's old friend that he told you, hey, don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. I'm with you. Don't worry about them. You don't have to worry about them. And then, a couple months later, he comes back to you. He says, hey, I think this relationship, we've gone as far as we can go. We've accomplished all we could together. I think I'd be better off from you. And then he ends up with the person he tells you not to worry about. I get the anger. That's what I want to bring it to my next point. Multiple things can be true about this situation at one time. Y'all can be upset. I want you to know that. Anybody who coming at y'all on social media saying you need to be appreciative, I agree. You should be appreciative of what he's done, but you can also be upset. Everybody in this fan base, if you are upset, you have a right to do so. You got a right to be upset. Don't let anybody tell you differently. I get it. This man, he came to you and he said, you know what, God called me here. He called me to HBCUs. I want to help y'all. I want to level the playing field. He brought Travis Hunter in. He really made y'all believe that this is going to be a long-term thing. He never, not credit to him, he never said that he wouldn't hear out a bigger job if it came calling. He said he'd be a fool not to. But he did make you guys believe that this was going to be longer than 2.5 years. That if I leave, I'm going to only leave after I make sure y'all are up here. Like that y'all are really up here on a level playing field. And it didn't happen. I get it, man. I truly do understand y'all anger. Honestly, I don't like the way he left. I don't like the way he left. I think even though, thank God, it didn't cause a distraction to the team, this is something that you could have waited to announce after the Celebration Bowl. That's what I love Coach Prime, and I'm gonna continue to report on him at Colorado because I'm doing FBS football as well as HBCU. But nah, he was wrong with how he went about it, and that's just my opinion. He was wrong how he went about it. Let this stuff be for after the Celebration Bowl. You were lucky. You were lucky that this media circus that you allowed to happen, because let's make no mistake about it. He didn't drop the news that he was leaving. He didn't leak it, but he could have held off. He could have controlled that narrative if he wanted to. He could have controlled that narrative if he wanted to, but he didn't say anything. And you being who you are, when you don't say anything and that news is dropped, you're allowing people, because you didn't say anything, you're allowing people to run further with this narrative. Because all they're going to say is he's not denying it. Prime ain't speaking. You're allowing them to make this thing get bigger than what it is before it needs to be. He could have controlled that better. What I don't like the most is that I've seen videos on how he was acting after the SWAC championship. I've seen the videos before during this pregame walk. I could tell by his energy something was off with him. We didn't know just yet, but something was off with him. It wasn't the same like when I was down there for the for y'all's rivalry game versus Southern the first time. It wasn't the same. It was very different. So I knew something was up there. But it was just the way, I don't know if y'all seen the video on social media, I wish I could pull it up, but it was during the trophy presentation, and Prime was like hurry up, like he wasn't even in the mood to hold up the trophy that he just won for the SWAC. It looks like he was so ready to give this news to the team. Let me catch this flight because I got somewhere to be. I didn't like how he went about that. Because you have made the decision to come back and coach the Celebration Bowl, imagine how awkward that is. Yes, you told him that you were leaving after the SWAC championship. Way to ruin that night. You could have at least way to ruin that. I get it. You had somewhere to be. But come on, man. Just way to ruin that night. Okay, so fine, you're leaving. Shedeur, anybody with common sense knows Shedeur was leaving with Prime. But y'all get to Colorado that same night or early that morning or whenever you do. And I'm literally looking at you. Fine, Prime, you leaving to Colorado. I know this. But I'm seeing Shedeur with the Colorado hat on it. Y'all got the Colorado gear on. And it's just you're going to be a part of that team, but you aren't now. You're still a Jackson State Tiger. Shedeur, you're not in the portal yet, bro. What you doing? Why is the Colorado hat stuff why is that on? Why is that on? Now you got to see that all over social media. You smiling in the facilities, man, because you know that's where you're gonna be at. You're still a Jackson State Tiger, man. Now, because those guys have a great relationship on the team, I don't know how these guys are feeling. I don't know how these kids are feeling on the team. I don't know how they're looking at those videos of Shedeur. Maybe they don't care. The bond tends to be strong with these kids, and I love that. But I feel like everybody on that team don't rock with that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. This is not me saying that I know that for a fact, but I feel like most of the kids on that, some of the kids on that team don't rock with how things was done. They didn't say it, but they don't rock with how things was done. I don't know. It just, me seeing that from Shedeur, it made me cringe. Win the Celebration Bowl first. Then if you wanna flaunt the Colorado gear, do you? Because I knew you was going anyway. But damn, still at least act like a Jackson State Tiger until the season's over with. At least. Thank you. That was cringe. That was cringe. Now, side note, I want the best for Shedeur, right? And I'm gonna make videos on how they gonna have their work cut out for them, but the way that they going, I think this could we gonna break down Shedeur and how he's gonna translate to the Pac-12. But how he handled this, I just didn't like it. And then he posted the little eyes on social media as if he was surprised this was happening. You can't convince a soul in America, even if you didn't know Shador, you cannot convince a soul in America that you did not know, that you were truly surprised that your dad was taking this position. Because I think, shout out to Swag Buzz, I think he posted on Twitter that Colorado was after him before what, homecoming? Before homecoming, they were going after him. You knew. You close with your dad, man. You knew. You don't have, like, don't put the front on. Don't put the front on. You knew it was gonna happen. Also, side note, shout out to Shiloh, man. Shout out to Shiloh, but we're gonna talk about that later. We're gonna talk about that later. So listen, you can be upset. That's the first point. You have every right to be upset, but you cannot discredit what this man has done. And I will tell you what I mean by that. I understand y'all being upset, but when I get on social media, I see how some people take things to the extreme and they start coming up with the most horrible takes simply because they're upset that Coach Prime decided to leave. And one of them was that, and by the way, if you disagree with me at any point, it's fine, y'all. This is what this is for. This is what I'm gonna let y'all call in later to talk about. So if you disagree, that's cool. We just having a discussion. But to me, I saw this take on Twitter where this young lady was like, now that man is gone, talking about Coach Prime, I just want to say that Deion Jr. was very biased in his content that he was posting for Jackson State, and that he should have never been in charge of that. And I said, we not gonna do, like, that's where I kind of was like, chill out. We not gonna do that. Anybody who made a play, Deion Jr. was in their face. Anybody who made a play, Deion Jr. was right there cursing and laughing. Y'all, I don't even need to do the laughter, y'all. Y'all know exactly how he laughed, and running up and down the field. Simeon, Shane, Shador. Of course, it's going to be Shador's the quarterback, number one. He's a star, number two. He's QB1, number three. Of course, he's going to be in the camera a lot of the time. But anytime anybody made a play, Deion Jr. was right there. He had the same height for everybody. So let's not do that. Like, let's not spread false narratives. Now, whether you believe that, some people was like, well, Prime used this, and he knew he was going to use this for all along, and he doesn't even believe that God called him to coach at an HBCU. People was really going in on him. In fact, there was an article calling this man like a sellout, calling him everything in the book. I'm not going to go that far with it. I will say, though, you can't discredit what he's done. Both of you guys benefited from this marriage. Naturally, one is going to get a little bit more than the other. One going to benefit more than the other, but both of y'all benefited from this marriage. You got the facilities, you got the practice field, which was a legit danger to your players at one point. You got the locker room, got the players' lounge, you got the nice uniforms. Y'all had all the engagement, and depending on who you hire next, who AD hires next, which I'm gonna just go ahead and tell y'all, I don't even think it's top secret. Cam Newton's name has come up. Do I think Cam Newton is gonna coach? No, I think he's still preoccupied with playing. A lot of people are going to look at Cam Newton and say no, but Cam Newton has excellent football IQ, so it wouldn't really be bad. Recruiting would be great. His name has come up. I don't think that's going to happen. Now you're starting to hear Ray Lewis. You're starting to hear other big names in the football world. I'm just going to tell you those two. But AD's shooting his shot. AD is shooting his shot. But don't discredit what this man has done. He did a lot for y'all. He got y'all on campus blitz for Under Armour. You both benefited. So don't discredit him. But at number 3, as I said earlier, the way he went about this was not right. And I will never agree with the way he went about it. We've seen this a few times in college football. Brian Kelly with Notre Dame. Lincoln Riley with leaving Oklahoma for USC. I don't agree with the way he's done it. Why would you want to call, thank you, Timona, Mike Minter from Campbell, who they just played. First of all, everybody loves Mike Minter. And if Ashley Robinson goes to hire Mike Minter, I love it. That man's a player coach, and he's the only other FCS coach who's been rivaling Jackson State in terms of recruiting, and that's straight out of high school. He ain't even hit the transfer portal. That's straight out of high school. He can get you a couple 4-stars as well without the name of primetime. So I would heavily consider Mike Minter. Heavily. If you can't get a big name. Cam Newton is trying to figure out who he is. That's why I'm saying, yeah, they talking to Cam. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. They talking to Cam. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, don't sleep on it. Recruiting would be great. Great football IQ coming from Cam. He'll be fine. But yeah, the way he went about this just wasn't right. You caused such a big distraction that didn't get to you in the SWAC championship. But I have no idea. Now that all these videos are coming out, I have no idea what's going to happen in the Celebration Bowl. North Carolina Central is a good opponent. They're a good opponent. Some of these kids are probably trying to figure, regardless of what Prime says about not entering the portal and staying to play for Jackson State, some of these kids are going to be looking to leave. The ones that's not following Prime. They probably got that on their minds now. Do y'all realize how many 4-stars that Prime brought in that can't go with him to Colorado? Because I think he only said in the Colorado press conference, if you watched him, he's only taking like 10 dudes. He's only taking 10 dudes. He's brought a lot of 4-stars in that building that's gonna have to end up somewhere else if they choose to leave. So that's number one. But you got the Celebration Bowl coming up. You and Shador come back off that private jet whenever you do in your Colorado stuff. Saying he made some comments during that press conference that was a little concerning. The one that stuck out to me the most was him saying there's no crime here. Like there's no crime in Colorado. I'm not going to say that's a dig at Jackson State. I'm not going to, of the city of Jackson, I'm not going to say that's a dig at all. But there's no crime. I don't think that's innocent either. I mean, if you want to say that's low crime in Colorado, there is. Statistically, it is. But there's no crime. Like, why did you get in front of them and make it seem like they was just so much like there's no crime here? Oh my God. That was doing too much. I didn't like that either. That was definitely doing too much by him. We just had a mass shooting 2 weeks ago. Exactly. So I didn't like that comment by him. Like there's no crime here. Didn't like that comment. But yeah, I think he created a huge distraction, a very big distraction, by letting Colorado get all this content to post on social media, knowing that anything you say in this press conference is going to get back to Jackson State because the internet literally feeds off of this drama. The algorithm is going to do its thing. It's going to get back to y'all. Everybody's going to clash. You knew what was going to come of this. He could have controlled this a lot better than what he did. And I wish I could be a fly on the wall for when Shador get back. Because, like, damn, again, I know you leaving. I would never be stupid enough to think you would stay once your dad is gone. But you still a Jackson State Tiger. I'm going to rock with you wherever you go because you my boy. But at least do me the decency of letting me know that you got my back, that you got me, and that we locked in for the Celebration Bowl, and then we'll just do whatever afterwards. Have enough respect for me in that manner. You feel me? All right, so Mike T, I'm not salty. I promise you, I'm not salty because as you can tell by the obvious slide that I have put up, multiple things can be true. So if you were here or if you had any comprehension skills whatsoever, you would hear me say that although I don't agree about how he did certain things, you can't discredit what he's done. Or you could look at number 4, because you probably can't read, where I say he deserves the opportunity. But whatever. Um, but nah, number 4, he deserves the opportunity. He does. He does. He deserves the opportunity. None of you should have gone into this thinking that Coach Prime was going to be at Jackson State for 10 plus years. I didn't want him to leave after 2.5, but I knew he wasn't going to stay long. That's just not realistic in this day and age of college football. It's not realistic. Unless your name is Nick Saban, unless your name is Dabo Swinney, John Harbaugh, you're not going to stay. You're not going to stay one place. You're not going to stay one place for a lot of time. Done what? Come on, Kobe. He didn't do a thing. I don't think you believe that. I don't think you believe that, my boy. He deserves his opportunity, man. He's accomplished a lot in a short amount of time. He got Good Morning America to come see y'all. College football game day. Came to see y'all. Again, the facilities, the amount of money he's made through revenue of just being on the internet with engagement for y'all. He got the brand out there. You got the number 1 recruit as well as the number 1 slot player, slot receiver in the country. You had the number 1 defense in the country for the past 2 years. You've experienced great success in these past 2 years. And you still get an opportunity at a Celebration Bowl ring before he leaves. So now I'd say that's doing a lot in just a span of 2.5 years. He deserves the opportunity. We knew he wasn't going to stay here forever. He was going to want to take on that next big challenge, because it's not about money for him. He just wants the legacy. Me personally, I thought his legacy would have benefited better had he stayed at Jackson State and made that a powerhouse, but that's just me. He wanted to go to the highest level and make a name for himself. He did it. He did it. So he deserves the opportunity. Overall, I'm not upset with him, and I'm going to wish him the best. Number 5, and this one is important. I understand why HBCU fans, HBCU alum, current HBCU students, I understand why y'all want to gatekeep. Like, I understand now why some people were hesitant against Coach Prime when he first was announced. And listen to what I'm about to say before you react. Because I'm not an HBCU grad, I will never try to act like I know y'all's pain or I know more than what I do, because I went to a PWI. Like the stream. Thank you, my boy Chris McCray. Like the stream. However, my girl is an HBCU grad. She graduated from Howard in 2017. And I asked her, and I asked other HBCU grads as well, but I asked her, and I said, I wonder why people like really was going after Prime, like when they first got him. And she was like, after seeing the news now, she says, now you understand why we gatekeep. And I said, what you mean? She said, y'all come out of high school. Every last one of y'all came out of high school, or the majority of you, and you chose an HBCU. When society clearly always regurgitates to you that getting an education at an HBCU is less than desirable, that you are looked down more than any other college student because you go to an HBCU. You knew that because society tells you that all the time. And you still chose an HBCU because you knew this was for us. This is for me. This is for my people. They don't have to respect it because I do. Y'all chose that from the jump. And you went into that HBCU, whatever year you did, knowing that they aren't going to have the resources of a bigger PWI, but this is for me. This is my school. I love it, and I'm going to make the most of it, and I'm still going to be great and going to be proud of where I come from, regardless. So because y'all have one mindset of, this school is going to make me a better person, this school is going to allow me to become a better person to then help my Black community uprise itself because y'all had that mission. I understand why you look at people who like aren't SWAC, right? Or aren't an HBCU alum, and you're a little bit hesitant because they don't understand it the way that you do. They don't understand the nuances the way that you do. They don't feel the need to protect it the way that y'all do. The things that y'all get up, like they don't understand why you guys like the band, right? Or why you value the band, the Battle of the Bands, a little more than football. They don't understand it because that's y'all's culture. So when somebody comes in and you just know that they don't understand this the way that y'all do, you want to feel the need to gatekeep it a little bit. There are older people in y'all household right now who went to an HBCU during the glory days where they saw all of these amazing legends on the football field, some that we know, some that we don't know. Before it was integrated, and when they just had it, it wasn't much, but it was beautiful, and they had it to themselves. And then they had to go through a period where they saw people of another race look at it, say, "Oh, nah, this could be profitable for us," and use the resources that they have that you don't to take it away from you, and take some of your top talent so they can exploit it. There are people in your household that had to sit through that. So I kind of understand why they kind of looked at Prime from the jump and said, I don't know about this. Why some people were saying, I don't like how he's going about it. That I don't see this ending well. I see why. And I'm going to say that. But I want to offer y'all, before I open up the call lines, last thing, I want to offer y'all a different perspective. Coach Prime is giving y'all the reasons of why he wanted to leave. He's giving y'all the reasons. But what if, and I just can't help but feel like this, I think something happened between Prime and just the organization of Jackson State that just ain't being talked about. Something happened. Maybe Prime didn't want to leave at first. Maybe he tried to ask for more, or he tried to get more, or he tried to go to whoever and say, hey, I need this for my kids. And maybe Jackson State wasn't willing to give it. Maybe it was a power struggle, and Deion maybe used his leverage. Something had to happen. I was watching videos of how he was acting during the meeting, during the presentation of the trophy. I was watching how he was acting. I'm seeing how he's going about this. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, something happened, bro. Something happened. I can't confirm it for you. I can't confirm that it did. I'm just saying his behavior to me was very uncharacteristic. Something happened, and I think he'll never tell you it, but both sides will probably never tell you the real of what happened behind closed doors. But it had to be more than him just wanting to take a better gig. Something happened behind closed doors. I really do mean that. But all right, I'm done talking. I want to hear from y'all. I'm gonna answer as much calls as I can. All right, I want to hear from y'all. So the call lines have already been open. You can go ahead and call in. We got 2 people already, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer. Hey, caller, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
I'm good. Okay, so I am a JSU alum, and I've been listening to a lot of people talking.
Right.
And I have a few things that I feel like people don't understand. Jackson loves Coach Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi loves Coach Prime. JSU loves Coach Prime.
Right.
The character of Jackson State is the character of Coach Prime. Him leaving is not what hurts us. It's the way in which he did it. Mm-hmm. I'm an educator, so I know how it is to have children buy into what you tell them, love them, giving them kids that don't have fathers. You're giving them hope, and you're feeding life into them. And then you wait until the night that they win a championship, and you literally snatch all of that excitement from under them. It's messed up. He did it wrong. He had a city brought in. Crime can go in and say, y'all, we finna have a big crowd. We finna have fun. We don't need no foolishness. And it all stopped in that city. The moment he knew that he was going to take another job, all he had to do was come out and publicly say, listen, I love it here. You know, I know he said that we were going to level the playing field, but something better came along and I had to take it. And I'm sorry, but I love you guys, and we're going to rock out the rest of the season. And Jackson State would have rolled out the red carpet for him when he left. It would have been no issue. But he hurt everybody because the way he went about it. Crime is everywhere. All HBCUs lack financial stability. We don't have it. You can say the alumni can give it, but it's honest. When we come out of college, we don't go into the type of jobs that they go into. If he would have done it right, we would be fine. He did it wrong.
I got you. I understand. And, you know, like I said, your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. And this is why I'm opening these call lines, and these calls are still coming in, because I wanted y'all to air your grievances. So thank you for calling.
All right.
All right, caller, you live.
Yes, sir. That's me.
Yes, sir.
I got you. Oh, okay. All right. Let me say this. I agree with the sister that just spoke. I've always been a supporter of primetime, and I was really disappointed the way he did it, because the kids did win a championship. Mm-hmm. They were on cloud nine. They do have the right to have a celebratory situation. He could have easily just announced that he was going after the bowl game that just came up, because then everybody would have completed, I guess, their studies, because I got my master's degree at HBCU. Mm-hmm. So everybody at that time should have almost been out of it. The school year should have, the semester should have been ended. So that way they would have the chance to go home and analyze it and congest it and to understand what's happening. But one thing, my good brother, that everybody is not talking about, I really, really wish that you would bring this up. Mm-hmm. The reason why Jackson State did not have the money, and the reason why the city did not have the money, is because Brett Favre stole it. He stole the federal funds that were supposed to be committed to the city of Jackson, which would be funded down to the university as well. No one is saying anything, especially in our community, about that. He stole that money. That money was a federal money that was specifically allocated for the African American community there in Jackson, and he stole it. And so nobody is saying, okay, well, let's sue Brett Favre to get the money back for the black community. What we are doing is turning on each other. I wish Coach Prime would have stayed one more year at least, and he would have said something about Brett Favre stealing the money. Maybe they would have had the backbone to get that money back.
So he didn't say anything about Brett Favre then?
No. And that's, again, another thing that I was very disappointed in Coach Prime about, because he knew that Brett Favre stole the money because they had a big hubbub over it. So he knew that Brett Favre stole the money allocated that was designated through the Congress that was supposed to go to the city of Jackson to make sure that the water would have been better. All of that would have been squared away. But what they did was didn't say anything about it. They allowed the two white schools in Mississippi, of course, to keep going the way they were going, but nobody said anything about Brett Favre stealing that money. He's not in jail. He's just like Donnie No Legs. It seems like nothing is allowed to go against them, even though they break the law and they're in the United States of America. Him and Donnie Dolegs are friends. Why isn't Brett Favre? Because if it was a black man, you know as well as I know, if it would have been $15, $10, $5, they would have came with the SWAT and arrested him, bust down his door, the whole nine, and said, we got you on camera stealing $5 from Food Lion. That's exactly what they would have did. But he can steal all this money. He still has it. Nobody said a word about it. Nobody. And unfortunately, in the black community, instead of us turning on each other, because ultimately Primetime was going to go to a bigger spot anyway, but instead of us turning on each other and being angry about that, let's get angry about the real reason that he left. Because of course, unfortunately, of the crime. I grew up in East Harlem, so I know about crime. I was born and raised in New York City. Let's talk about the real reason why the crime was there. Was because the money was not allocated for the city to be able to revitalize. And because the city is primarily African-American, they did not want it. And Brett Favre should be in jail today. And every dime he got in the bank right now should be seized and given right back to that federal program and hire somebody who has the wherewithal to allocate it fairly so that the city can get the city and the school and everybody in the community can get the funds that they deserve.
All right, man. Thank you so much for calling in, bro.
Thank you. Thank you, my good brother. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, me personally, maybe y'all can confirm this for me in the comment section. I thought that Brett Favre stole the welfare money. I didn't know. Did he? I don't think he stole the school funds. I think it was the welfare money, but confirm that for me in the comments. That's what I thought. But I'm gonna let everybody get a chance to say what they want to say. So no matter if y'all agree with it or not, I'm gonna let y'all rock out. Hey, Carla, you live?
Yeah, that last round was funny. So okay, he didn't leave because of the whole government welfare thing. That for one, I'm from the city. I'm from Jackson. I graduated from Jackson. So he didn't leave because of that. It was a lot of stuff. It was administrative stuff. I can't say that. So like an example I heard was the whole Diddy 1 million thing. They wanted him to split it up between the different departments and stuff like that, and he had an issue with that. Another thing, it wasn't just a lot of random stuff, but to the question of how I feel about him leaving for Colorado, I'm not as upset as, because I heard it on Thanksgiving Day or like the day after. So I heard about it kind of around that time. So I processed it fast. So when it finally came out, I just didn't like how he tried to play it like he was the victim of it getting out early.
Because he could have controlled it. He could have controlled it.
He definitely could have controlled it. And really all he had to do was come out and say, hey, guys, that's a lie. But then he tried to do the whole Carl Reed thing of telling him, if you want to know, he's going to be the person to tell you and stuff like that. I didn't appreciate that, but I was like, he's trying to save face. Like all this, like we said, like all the videos before the game, after the game, he was visibly crying the entire game. That's why before they set up the stage, him and Tracy ran to the back. And everybody, they were asking, like, they were trying to see where he was going because Shador was looking for him and his son, Junior. They were looking for him. But
you were at the game, right?
No, they showed the entire thing on the ESPN broadcast.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And I'm a JSU grad, so I know a couple people that were there and stuff like that. So like, it's a lot with that whole situation. I'm not mad anymore. Like, I wish him the best. Like, Deion was my favorite like NFL player ever. So it's kind of like bittersweet. Like, you came to my school and you left, but I'm not really tripping anymore. But I will say this: if he doesn't get them bowl eligible by year 2, it's gonna be a problem.
It's gonna be a big problem. Black coaches have a much shorter lease leash than white coaches at the FBS level?
I just, because I was telling someone yesterday, I was like, see, it's different between him recruiting one 5-star to sell the whole culture thing. Now you're just going to a regular PWI with the same resources that all of the rest of them have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's still Deion, but you were selling Deion and the culture. You were selling the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just selling come play for me at another PWI. I'm not saying it's not gonna work.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be hard when you got to go against USC, UCLA, Oregon,
mm-hmm. Utah. Like yeah, you got a lot.
Like it's gonna be really hard. But I got a question for you. Do you think he should coach the Celebration Bowl?
Yeah, I think so. I think he doesn't owe anybody anything, right? But if there's something he does owe that program, it's to finish the job. Finish the job.
Right.
If you gonna go, we know that. You at the start of the season, you said you wanted dominance, you wanted an undefeated season. You wanted to bring the school. It's ring. Me personally, I think it would have did a lot more damage had he not coached in that Celebration Bowl. Had he chosen not to and just go to Colorado, I think it would have been horrible for Jackson State. But I think he should coach that Celebration Bowl. I agree with that. Finish it, get the ring, and then go do what you got to do. Finish your obligation to Jackson State, and then go be with Colorado. But thank you for calling, man.
Thank you.
All right. All right, let me get to these calls. Hey, caller, you live. Caller, you live.
Hey, how you doing, man? This is Howard. I'm calling from LA, man. I just have one question. I want to know what's the deal with the kid, man, with his son, man. Why is he so pissed off?
So, and I'm gonna answer this for everybody watching. For those of y'all who don't know, Shiloh looked visibly upset on social media. He was the only one out of Travis and Shador to retain the Go JSU football or just the Jackson State University in his bio on the social media. He's put a poll up on his story and asked people, should I stay at Jackson State? And then Coach Prime comes out later today during the Colorado press conference and says, my safety, didn't even refer to him as Shiloh. He says the safety is in my doghouse right now, and that's why he didn't bring him. I can't tell you exactly what's the beef between them two, but if you ask me, it's because Shiloh probably is the only one who does not want to leave. Like, Shiloh's done the Power 5 thing. Shador hasn't. Shiloh played in the SEC. He got meaningful minutes with the Gamecocks. You feel me? And he still wanted to come and play for his dad. Like, he's done the Power 5 thing. I think he's over it. He found a home at Jackson State. I mean, he was ingratiating himself with the band and everything like that. Like, it looked like he really loved and enjoyed being at an HBCU, and I think he's a little upset. I think he's gonna be upset, but I think he's gonna follow his dad. But at the end of the day, I think that's really what it is, man. Prime is like, look, we're going to Colorado. This is a great opportunity for me. This is going to be a great opportunity for y'all. And Shiloh is just naturally giving him pushback. Like even watching their show growing up, you can tell Shiloh was the one out of all the kids that would give Prime pushback. So this ain't nothing new with their relationship, but I really think that's what it is. He just didn't want to go. But thank you so much for calling, brother. Hey, caller, you up? Caller, you live. All right, hang up. Go to the next one. Caller, you live.
Okay. Look. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, look. I'm calling from Chicago. I'm a former football coach.
Okay.
Football player. I got a kid that was basically same way as Shiloh is. I took him from a predominantly white institution in Illinois and took him to what you might call a ghetto school. Dogs gonna be dogs wherever they are, number one. Right. So Shiloh being there, he fit in, bro. That's why he's giving that pushback. But he's gonna go with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted.
He gonna go.
Number two, bro. Y'all keep forgetting that part of Deion's contract was that when they have sellouts at that stadium, that's his money. He called and put it on the map. He pulls everybody to the board. Look, when stuff ain't right, I'ma tell you. They had ticket sales, they had sellouts, but that money wasn't there. You got to look at that, bro. That's part of his contract. And y'all not looking at the overall picture. He said from day one, he want his assistant coaches to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
His assistant coaches wasn't going to be paid. They do a great job. People don't look at, this coaching thing. This coaching thing ain't a football season thing. It's a year-round thing. They missing their families. They giving up time with their kids and their family. Bro, they need to be compensated for it.
Mm.
That's the issue. Next issue, everybody talking about, well, he going to a PWI, and now it's just Deion Sanders at a PWI with everybody else. But think about it. Dude, you see the coaching staff they got at Jackson State? You think he can't call a couple more buddies where he can afford to pay them and really put Colorado back on the map? Come on, y'all. Let's be real. And half that Jackson State squad, them 4 and 5 stars, or them dogs that did what they were supposed to do, bro, they going. He already told them. He's like, there's a couple of y'all that.
Yeah, he said he taking 10 of them.
They're gonna be taking that flight. What was you saying, bro?
I said, yeah, he said he's gonna be taking about 10 of them.
Bro, I got a feeling it's gonna be about 15.
You think they're gonna take? You
got to think about it. I think it's gonna be about 15, and then on top of that, all the 4 or 5 stars that he was recruiting to come, bro, they're not going to Jackson State now. They're going to Colorado.
Right.
Because they came from. Let's be real, bro. You could have the best program in the country. If they feel their position coach and their head coach, bro, kids will ride with the coach and their position coach before they will with the university. It is what it is.
Mm.
Let's be real. A lot of people don't even. He man, it's just the way he left. It's just the way he left, bro. If y'all look at the timeline, he had a meeting with his squad 30 minutes or 40 minutes after the game. He left there and went to Colorado.
Mm.
It was speculation, yeah, but he told them. Everybody might have thought this, that, or the third, but it came out of his mouth.
He told them. He told them, yeah, but he was also gone for a part of that week. And like they inside the program, like they can tell when something is what it is. Like the name, it was already out. It was really already out once ESPN got on it.
Right. But that was the whole deal. But y'all got to look at it from the perspective that, bro, they trying to do what? You think they really want Prime to succeed? Let's be real. No, they don't. But he's still been proven wrong. This was going to happen. He's going to go to Colorado. I say first year, just they're going to call it a win. If they win 5 or 6 games this upcoming season, bro, it's a win. It's a win.
Right.
And look at all the fighting he's been doing in the swag. And everybody, he ain't swag, he ain't this, he ain't that, so-and-so this, so-and-so that. He was trying to improve the culture to let you see what it's like and what it's supposed to be like for athletes. And not only athletes, for student athletes.
Mm.
His kids go to school there. Why up? Bro, I didn't go to it.
Not for much longer.
HBCU, but
not for much longer.
A junior college in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, bro, I know what it's like when your Pell Grant ain't there. When you on scholarship, you got to borrow, you got to call your parents for this, that, and the third. Bro, they don't go through that at Illinois. They don't go through that at Michigan. Their stuff is there. But the staff get paid. Everybody else get their money, but the students not. He's just trying to make. He tried to open your eyes to different things, and that's what he did.
All right, well, listen, man, I got to get to some more callers, so I thank you for calling in, brother. All right, caller, you live.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, personally, I feel like, I'm a young guy person. Beforehand, I didn't know too much about HBCUs except for the few that were in my area. I didn't take offense to the loss of Deion Sanders initially because I felt like he did a lot. He gave us the first 2 years. He facilitated a lot more than they already had. The program looked like a high school. I've seen high schools with better programs than that. And he did a lot, but a lot of people have an issue with not only what he did with the media. If some people don't know, he left the media, didn't approach the situation at all. He just went straight and called an emergency meeting, which a lot of people felt was wrong because to them, the media spoke for the people. And people had questions. I feel like there was definitely a lot more behind the scenes that as people we didn't know about because he was trying to handle it on a professional level and keep it lucrative to just coaching, And it got past coaching when it started getting involved with money issues and where everything else was going direct. I just feel like people really need to sit back and look. This isn't just a Deion Sanders issue. This is past Deion
Of course
Sanders.
not. Of course not. Mm-mm.
I feel like a lot of people are hurt. It's justified. I was hurt. Last night I almost couldn't even sleep. It was just like you kind of got your shine taken away from up under you because as a people, we rally. Once we find somebody we can rally behind, we can all feel we rally behind it. He first came out and said, I'm not even a big spiritual person, but the first thing he said was, God brought me to this mission. Everybody said the same thing. That drew people. That poured people's emotions. So once he was leaving in the way he did, it was so quick. It was like you just took the soul out of people almost. And they needed to hear from you, directly because we felt connected to you even though we weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
From all over the country. Shoot, even some people who weren't black supported HBCUs.
Right.
It was just, I just think it was a lot that people don't understand that was going on that needs to be solved internally with our people. And it's past Deion. It's done at this point. We knew for 2 weeks. It was people had some hope left that he wasn't going to leave because it was just speculation. But when ESPN put something out, bro, that ain't just no speculation. That's something serious. They're not gonna put nothing out and put their career at jeopardy just to, say something. That's just to not to throw out people under the bus, but to a certain extent, that's some stuff that we do sometimes. We put out fake news, or even if they put out fake news sometimes. But when it's to that level, when it's at the Power 5 level, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. So I think now we need to move past Prime.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate everything he's done for us. I think Shallow definitely staying because Shallow doesn't have, if I'm not mistaken, he doesn't have that extra year of eligibility anymore. He's done his year, and he's staying at JSU. I'm not sure if he can, if he has any movement, but if he does, I believe he might stay. He already joined the Sonic Boom and everything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say.
Hey, man, thanks for the call. Now, remember, also in Coach Prime's in his press conference with Colorado, they did say that he, as well as Colorado, have come up with a system, some type of program that makes it easier for transfers to come to Colorado. So if Shiloh wants to go, and I think he will, they'll get him in the door. They'll find a way to bypass it. Caller, you live.
Hey, Kobe.
Yes, sir.
Mike Still from Jackson, man. What's up?
What's going on with you, man?
Hey, bro, quick question for you. All right, my man said it's not about a bag, but my dude, you interview for every job, every season. So make it make sense. That's all I got for you, boss. I appreciate the show.
Hey, all right. Thank you for calling, bro. Thank you for calling. I don't think he ever admitted to the TCU interview, but I mean, seeing what you see now, you kind of think he did. Hey, caller, you live?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, how you doing? This is calling from DC. Just a quick question I had. Thinking about the whole Prime situation. He admitted earlier, that he had gotten the offer from Colorado when he was putting stuff out in the media, but I never saw Jackson State come back with, this is what we're doing, this is what we're trying to do to keep him. Never heard anything from that. And, just wondering why, more attention has been played as to what Jackson State's effort was to keep him, because during the 2 years he was there, everybody was eating. I mean, Jackson State, the fans, everybody in the city benefited from what he was doing. You can't just take and throw all that away and waste our energy by just being upset. You need to take what he did and his blueprint he gave us to continue on. That's what we need to be focusing on and enjoy.
So wait, let me ask you a question real quick. You said you believe that Jackson State didn't do much of anything to try to keep him. That's your problem?
What I'm saying is that Jackson State didn't publicly come out and say, well, we know we can't give him $5 million, but we offered him $1 million. We offered him this for the, just like Deion was saying, hey, this team is offering me, this team is offering me. But I never heard anything publicly from the school saying how they were trying to keep him.
Okay. All right. I think I get what you're saying. Thank you for calling, brother.
All right.
So I don't know why they would come out publicly and try to let y'all know, at least not before everything is set in stone with them in Colorado. I don't know why they would come out publicly and tell you, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do to get Deion to stay. Like, nah, all that stuff stays in-house. But that's just that. I don't think they would come out and tell you. Caller, you live.
Hello?
Yes, sir. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how you doing, Kobe?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Tell me what's on your mind.
Well, what I'm looking at is the players on the team. As far as you got Savion Wilkerson.
Right.
He transferred from Delta State and came to Jackson State.
Well, West Virginia first.
Will he be able to transfer again? And then will his mom let him transfer?
That's a good. That's a good.
A lot of these guys gonna have to answer to their parents. They got to talk to their parents to see what their parents think.
So, in my opinion, regarding Savion, I actually got a chance to talk to his mom before our interview that we had together. Very, very nice woman. Like, she very nice. You get the sense that she's not. She's just as involved in Savion's future as he is. Like, she has just as much say as what he's going to do next with his career as he does.
Right.
But because Prime took such a liking to Savion Wilkerson, like, I mean, he went from not knowing Savion when he first got there to Savion has pro potential. I think now that he in Colorado has put that system in place to make it easy for transfers to come to Colorado with him, and they are backed by politicians as well, I think Savion is going to be one of those guys that he takes from Jackson State, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not saying it'll happen. That's just my opinion.
And he's taking the top people. Colorado is going to be a threat.
You think Colorado? I can't say it. See, this is why it's to me it's a little too early to talk about what he's gonna do next year for Colorado. Because me being an Oregon fan, I watch the Pac-12 games. Right, number one, you gotta deal with us. We put up 40 points a game. Even when we lose Bo Nix, we're gonna put up 40 points a game. Number 15 in the country. You got to deal with USC, who just barely missed the playoffs. Okay, and Lincoln Riley, he is an offensive mastermind. He is out recruiting everybody because who wouldn't want to come to sunny California? Now you got to deal with those two off the rip. You got to out recruit those two. You got to deal with those two on a yearly basis. Then you got Utah. Then you got Washington. I can't sit here and say that him bringing in just because he got Travis, he got Shador, he most likely gonna bring Simeon and like 7 others. But it's hard for me to say that he's gonna come up here and just straight dominate or show you something crazy next year, because he got a lot to deal with. Like, it's a lot of competition. This ain't FCS football no more. Like, this is the big league. So he gonna have to hit that portal heavy, which is why he's hitting the ground running recruiting wise right now. But until I see what he's done after signing day and after that portal closes, then we can come back and talk about that. But right now, I think it's a little too early.
Is he taking that defense coordinator with him?
Dennis Thurman. I have no idea, but I hope he does.
Because if he do, Dennis Thurman is going to give a lot of headaches to a lot of people.
As a matter of fact, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Thurman stay at Jackson State, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't mind seeing him stay at Jackson State. But I feel like Thurman got into coaching because Prime asked him to. Because when you look at him, you can tell like he'll do it, but this like he'll gladly be happy with just going home and living life. You feel me? Like, that's the vibe I get from Thurman. But if he's going to do it because he's asked, then he's going to give you everything he has. So that's that. So I don't know if Thurman is going to follow Coach Prime to Colorado, but we'll definitely have to wait and see. Shout out to my guy, HBCU Spotlight. He said 5-star Alabama running back wants to go to Colorado. If you are talking about Trey Sanders, number 5, I love that move. And now that he has the facilities, let's not be surprised when we see him pulling off a lot of these guys, these big-time guys who are in the portal. He already got a 5-star that committed, and he hasn't even been there for 24 hours, even though that kid is in the class of 2025. Before I take this next caller, we got 1,500 people in here. So do me a favor and like the stream. All right, 1,500 people, by far the most I ever had during the live. All right, so like the stream. Caller, you live.
Hey, what's up, brother?
What's going on with you, man?
What's up, man? I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, man. I ain't gonna take up too much time, man. I do appreciate the show and everything, man. I think there's a few things here, man, with this. I think it's strange that ain't nobody talking about, the few times Deion had mentioned, his stuff getting stolen here recently in Jack. Like, I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, man, and it's a lot of black on black crime, you know what I'm saying, in that area, and along with right there in Jackson and Brandon, Mississippi too, it's like the same thing. Like the recent thing, I think it was somebody going in the locker room and stealing his stuff, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And today in Colorado, he mentioned something about the crime rate in Boulder. And I just think it's kind of strange that, you mentioned the crime rate, but it's like, okay, what about that? Like, why mention the crime rate?
Yeah.
That's not
I agree with you. I thought that crime rate comment was a little questionable. I'm not gonna sit here and say that was a shot at Jackson, but I can't not say it wasn't one either. I didn't like it. I thought it was unnecessary, and regardless of what you meant when you say that, where people are gonna take it, especially people who aren't black. So no, I didn't like the comment.
No, I do. He hasn't done a good job at Jackson. I congratulate Jackson on his success and all of that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, his son's car's been broken into, and of course Deion is elite. So I mean, some of the guys they don't have to transfer to the NFL. Savion Wilkinson, his son, Shiloh, he already got them. Like, they already primed up. Like, they can as well just stay right there in Jackson and still have a successful football career. They can go to the NFL. They can do all that protection because he already set it up for them. But I just think it's strange, man. He would mention that, what I'm saying, about the crime thing rate is like basically, he was like, the crime rate is basically zero here. And then he went on into another subject, but I'm like, okay, I mean, why mention that if that ain't playing a part into you leaving? But, you know, I think, you know, he was going to leave in time. You know, I do think it was a possibility for him to stay one more year. But, you know, honestly, and this just me, after that last crime, whatever it was, with somebody going into the locker room and stealing his stuff, you know, I think that just threw him over the edge. And that's just me personally. You know, I don't know what everybody else think about that. But, hey, you know, and also, like I said, his son, Shiloh, he don't really, I mean, he's not eligible unless they change the rules, but he ain't got to go nowhere to make it to the NFL. He can stay right there at Jackson. Them guys can go do their thing again next year. You know, they can get the highlights, and he can still go to the NFL, him and Savion, and probably some more of them. But, yeah, man, that's pretty much, you know, it for me, man. You can pretty much talk about it. It's a lot of topics concerning this, but that crime thing was the most that stood out the most to me.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for calling, man.
Yes.
Is Travis Hunter going to transfer? I know Shiloh and Shador are going to Colorado. Listen, y'all should pretty much book that right now. Travis is following Prime. I know Florida State wants him back. I know the players have been calling for him to come home. He's going with Prime. He's already took the chance of going to Jackson State out of high school to learn from the best that ever played a position. He's following Prime to Colorado. He's following Prime. I would definitely put all my money on that. Hey, caller, you live.
Hello, how are you?
How you doing, man?
I'm well. I know him personally. My son used to play with them when they went to school together because my son plays basketball. But I will say this. As the person that I know, he wanted to highlight some of the crazy going on at these HBCUs and the funding that they're not getting. Mm-hmm. And he also wanted his kids to be a part of that so they could see, too, how to go about doing business going forward. That's just my opinion. I just think a lot of things weren't said, but it was a lot of stuff said without him actually saying it subliminally. He was saying it just in his interviews and different things about how the things were torn up and how he had to revamp this and revamp that. And he had to basically raise money to get the place up to par for the young black boys to feel like they were a part of something.
Right.
So that's where I see it. And I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so yeah, like with that, it really goes both ways. Yes, crime is everywhere. So like I said, for him to make that comment, I didn't exactly agree with it. However, in terms of him getting his stuff stolen when it happened, I know it first happened with the boombox, right? And then for people to go into Shiloh's truck and take things out of Shiloh's truck, I mean, Shiloh was a victim of it too. He still wants to stay, so I'm not taking that as a good excuse for why he wanted to leave Jackson State. But I will say this: that blame falls on both parties. Both parties. So Prime, understand this. Yes, it is definitely reasonable for you to go to a school and not have to worry about getting your stuff stolen. Nobody's going to blame you for that. However, when you complain about the lack of resources that were afforded to you at HBCUs, you knew this was the case when you took the job. Anybody who knows about HBCUs knows how it is. Like, you knew this was the case when you took the job. So as far as what you didn't have here, I'm not trying to hear that. But as far as Jackson State, it's really not too much to ask y'all to provide better security so that stuff don't get stolen out the locker room. Like the car or whatever. You can't really have security in the parking lot 24/7. But the locker room, having somebody steal out of the locker room, that does fall on y'all. I'm sorry to say. I'm not sorry to say actually, but it does fall on y'all. Carl, you live.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on, brother?
And I've been thinking on all this, and I feel like that even if Jackson State could have offered him pretty close to what Colorado was offering, that he was going to leave anyway because he knew that his son would not be able to go in a high draft choice at Jackson State, and he knows that he definitely wouldn't ever get Heisman Trophy, coming from Jackson State, because they're not recognized. I'm not saying that they're not good, but then they don't recognize them as being, the competition that these other schools are. So he knew that he had to get into a Power 5 school for his son to even have a chance.
Well, all right. Well, let me challenge that.
Candidate,
let me hold on.
And I think that if people was to just stop and think that he have done just as much for Jackson State as Jackson State have done for him, because first of all, he had to stop at that small school in order to get some credibility, in order to go on to the school that he's in now. Because
but
basically,
when you bring up Shedeur, when you brought up Shedeur and his ability to not be able to go to the pros because of him being at Jackson State, if that was the case, why did Prime allow him to go to Jackson State in the first place if he knew his son wasn't going to make it to the pros from Jackson State? As a matter of fact, why? No, wait. Hold on. If that's the case, why? Hold on. If that's the case, why did he even let Shedeur commit to FAU? If getting Shedeur to the league is the goal, why would you let him come to Jackson State? That's first. And second, why would you even allow him to commit to FAU? Because your chances are still about the same. Why didn't you? Because let's not forget. He had offers from Alabama. He had offers from Florida State. He could have went to those bigger schools. He could have went to a mid-major school. He chose FAU, and then he chose Jackson State. So I can't say that that's the reason. Like, I can't say that he sat there, looked at Jackson State, and said, "My son can't go pro from here," because you allowed him to come here. You only get 4 years of eligibility.
I didn't say that. I said a high draft choice, or either a Heisman Trophy. That's what he expects his son. He feel like his son is the best player in the nation. You know what I mean? And so, but he knows even if he was the best player in the nation, that he will never become a Heisman Trophy at Jackson State.
Well, the thing is, the Heisman Trophy wasn't even a thought to them until his name got in it this year. I don't even think that was the goal coming into college football.
Do what now?
I said I don't even think that was the goal for them. Like that Heisman was just a byproduct, right? It would have been great to add it to their last name and their legacy, but it was just a byproduct.
Right, but see, and then at the same time, Deion had to start somewhere himself. You see what I'm saying? So Jackson State was a stepping stone for him, and he did good at Jackson State, and he moved on to something bigger. And because some coaches, most of your white coaches, if they would have done as good as Deion did at that small college, they would have been offered a better job than Colorado. You see what I'm saying? But Auburn didn't want him there because they felt like that he was, he required too much power. And that's the same thing with Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin was going to go to Auburn, but Lane Kiffin wanted to break his contract if he wanted to have the rights to break his contract if he felt like that he can get that Alabama job a couple years down the road. And they told him no. And so that's why he stayed at Ole Miss. But, I think that if the guy put up the same kind of numbers he put up at Jackson State, I feel like that he'll go first round somewhere. But I don't think he would have went first round in Jackson State.
Okay, so I get what you're saying.
It's always going to come back to, your level of competition. It's always going to come back to that.
But
it always come back to that.
But let me ask you this. And this,
okay.
I ain't trying to challenge you no more. I just want to know what you think. He's gonna be QB1 for Colorado, whether Prime say he got to earn it or not. We all know he's gonna be the starting quarterback. If he comes out and he doesn't play exceptional football this year, that I think we both can agree that high draft pick talk is out the window.
You think so?
Out the window.
Well, you say if he have good numbers at Colorado, you don't think he'll get drafted high?
If he struggles in Colorado, I think.
Oh yeah. If he struggles, look, if he struggles in Colorado, sure. I'm gonna tell you something else too. This could be a setup for Deion, because if Deion's struggling in Colorado, guess what? They're gonna pay him and they're gonna let him go. In any other job that he's trying to get, they're not gonna use Jackson State record. They're gonna use Colorado record. They're gonna say, okay, well, he did good in that in the HBCU, but when we put him in the Power 5, he couldn't show up. So he'll never be able to get a better job in the Power 5 if Deion struggled in Colorado. He'll never be able to get a better job. Never. So it could be a setup. You know what I mean? Because they didn't want Deion around Jackson State anymore, simply because he was a recruiting threat. Okay? They'd rather for him to recruit for Colorado than to recruit for Jackson State. So they'll send him out there for the worst job in the world and say, okay, well, you bring this up. And you bring this program up, and then we'll see what we'll do. And everybody's sitting now hoping that he fails. You see what I'm saying? Because, and if he do fail, well, he makes $25 million, but, he'll never be able to come back and get a Power 5 job, because they're going to base him off of what he did at Colorado.
All right, thank you for calling, my brother. To that last point, I let him go. There's a lot of calls in here. Prime is going to have jobs for a while simply because he can recruit like no other. I'm going to be honest with y'all. He going to have jobs for a long time. Caller, you live.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me, bro?
Yes, sir. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, listen. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell all y'all something. I've been knowing of Deion for a long, long time, man. I'm 50 years old. I'm from Orlando. Come up under that Nate Newton and Tim Newton circle. I went on my visit when I got recruited by Mickey Andrews and boy Deion, and they showed me a good time up there at Florida State. Listen to me, man. Deion has always going to be about family and the money, baby. From his Shador and them rocking the money symbol on his cane and having that all in his car, on his car seat. Man, listen, he's gonna be about the money day one, but of course he's gonna look out for his family, bro.
Right.
Now what I would say for the callers that called in, we have to stop being so emotional and look at this from a business standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Deion did a lot for the black man, the black coaches, the young HBCU players. He shined his light. He put HBCU much back on the map.
Mm-hmm.
From a drought, I would say that they were having. But yeah, man, and even my nephew was a two-time JUCO All-American quarterback that won 2 championships. He's got him wanting to flip to come from getting recruited by UTSA and Texas Tech to come HBCU. So he's definitely, set the bar and raised the bar. And we just got to look at Prime for what he did, man. And like I said, man, wish him the best. But I do agree. I do agree with one caller said about I think he should coach the Celebration Bowl because, like you say, he needs to finish what he started with them boys.
Yeah.
And it's really going to reflect on his personality as a man because he gave them their word. Now I want to ask you a question. Whether anybody else thinks or not. Just like you said, you're an Oregon fan, and the Pac-12, Power 5 is different. So if Shador gets there, and I think Josh McCown's son is the quarterback now at Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say whatever, he hits the transfer portal and recruits hard, and he knows that Shador is not the best guy, kind of like a DJ Uiagalelei and Clay Covenant situation. If he doesn't beat Shador and they start losing, what do you think happens?
If he doesn't play Shador and they start losing?
If Shador starts and he's clearly not the better guy there, and they're losing because of Shador, how do you think that looks and what do you think happens?
It's going to look horrible on him, and it's going to look like a clown show. As a matter of fact, if he plays Shador and Shador is struggling and they have a better quarterback who can come in and carry out the rest of the season better than what Shedeur can do, and he doesn't put Shedeur on the bench, those daddy ball rumors are going to come back. They not only going to come from what he's doing in Colorado, it's going to come all the way back to Jackson State. People are going to get on him. It's going to be absolutely horrible for not only him but Shedeur as well. It won't be a good look. It won't be a good look. Like, he would know. He would have to sit Shedeur on the bench, even though that's your son, even though you had high hopes for him. If he comes to this level and he struggles and you have a QB who is better than him, you got to play him. You got to play him. You figure out what you're going to do with Shedeur afterwards, but you have to play him. Otherwise, you won't be at Colorado for very long because the press will eat you alive. They love you now, but if you do something like that, the press going to eat you alive.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty much my next question. My final thought I was going to say is a lot of these people, man, because like I say, my nephew's transferring, thinking about going to HBCU now, been in talk with some coaches since August. But a lot of them guys that we already know, man, Prime went to that transfer portal last year and got about 30 of them guys from D1. And then this year before the season started, he got about 30 of them guys again. So, that transfer rule, because my nephew had to get a waiver. I don't think he's going to be able to get all them guys up to Colorado like that because they only allow you one transfer to transfer D1. After that, you got to sit out for a whole entire year. So I think the boy Travis will be good. Shedeur will be good. I don't know about nobody else.
Well, because he's not taking a lot of kids anyway, you really have to. First, we really got to know who he would even plan on taking anyway. We know 3 of them to be sure: Kevin Coleman, Travis Hunter, Shedeur. Shallows, he don't really want to go, but I mean, let's face it, he gonna go. So I mean, that's 4 right there. Maybe Simeon Wilkinson at number 5. We don't know the other 5. We don't know the other 5 and what their eligibility situation is like. But yeah, man, I can't really speak on it because I don't know who it's going to be yet, who he's going to try to take. But yeah, everybody ain't going to be able to go. That's the unfortunate situation. All those 4 stars that he brought in, somebody got to get left back. Javante Ruck is a 4-star. I don't know if he's on that last 5. Quay Davis is a 4-star. Rico Powers still got eligibility left. It's so many people in that receiving group alone that could really come up with him.
Miles Gaddy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Miles Gaddy. That's my boy right there. Him and Auburn, but I know Auburn's gone.
Yeah, Cameron Silman Craig. Is he gonna bring Cam? Is he gonna bring Cam? Do we know? Maybe he brings Cam, maybe not. But yeah, it's a.
This is what I think, Kobe. What? And people forget, man. People forget. Deion he's a preacher, man. He knows a good way with words. He can talk to people. People love him. And here's my thing, right? When you got something that's good, right, and it's great, everybody wants it. That's like when you're in high school and everybody asking you, dang, bro, that's your chick? That's your chick? Yeah, man, that's my chick. You don't think everybody gonna want your chick? Man, she bad, man. So we everybody gotta stop doing that, man. You gotta stop getting mad at Prime. It's a business. Y'all wanted something good, right? You got it. He brought y'all back to prominence. Okay? Now, you don't think somebody else gonna want him? That's the game.
No, yeah, listen. That's the business. And I told y'all this when the rumors started coming. When you win at the FCS level and when you do things that Coach Prime has done at the FCS level, you cannot expect you can't get upset that these bigger schools are gonna want to come calling. That's the game. You could be upset, but you should know that they coming. You should know that they coming.
Right.
You got Lane Kiffin is at a great SEC job at Ole Miss. And Auburn was trying to get him. You feel me? Like, what makes you think you exempt from that?
Absolutely. At all. You're not. But I appreciate the call, bro.
All right, bro.
All right.
I want to get to this comment because I saw it. Somebody said, wow, so unfollow is the new breaking out. Yeah, so listen, Shallow unfollowed Coach Prime and Shador on social media. Again, like to me, he's still gonna end up at Colorado, no matter how upset he is. Y'all got to know that. If you man, listen, I don't care what nobody say. Out of all his kids, Shallow is the one who gives the pushback. Like, so this does not surprise me, right? But so yes, Shallow can be upset. Of course, he wants to stay at Jackson State, but nah, it ain't whatever little falling out they got right now. It ain't irreparable. Like he's gonna follow Shador and Prime back at some point, and then he's gonna be on the way to Colorado. That's just how it is. So don't think like that. It was like a big blowout. Will Shiloh have to sit out next year? I'm not sure. I really couldn't tell you. I'm trying to figure it out myself. Hey, caller, you live?
How you doing, man?
What's going on with you, bro?
Not much. I just want to, touch on a couple things. I follow the SWAC. I've been following them for years, even from the early 90s. It was in my bloodline. My grandma, raised us on Southern University, and I got to see the Jackson, the Steve Mayers, and all of them good players that came up during that era. And to see from since Katrina and what Deion came to do in the SWAC is phenomenal, and I see a lot of people have some bad things to say about him, and they're talking about business decisions. But as the people, we need to congratulate on what he did for the SWAC, and we need to continue on that legacy that he brought. And my trip ain't what Jackson State could have did for Deion Sanders, because they don't have the facilities, the money to keep him and the coaches happy. Let's face it, it comes down to money. But when you have an icon like that, it's like you having LeBron James come coaching Jackson State. They're not going to keep him, Somebody like Duke or something that need a coach, they're going to snatch him, right? Mm-hmm. So why didn't the SWAC as a conference overall, just like they did with Bo Jackson, say, you know what, maybe we can use Deion Sanders and put him at the top of the SWAC and have him govern the whole SWAC. And he can get these certain boosters. We can get these Aflac commercials. We can get these commercials and these big old televised games and help these coaches, not just in football overall, build the SWAC conference up. And maybe they could have gave him $6 million or $7 million per other conference and build that conference up instead of just, fussing and complaining about what he could have just did at Jackson State, because that wasn't going to work. And we all know that wasn't going to last, because that man gave half his salary back to help that school, and he did enough. But if you look at the press conference, look at the facilities he have in Colorado. That was an upgrade. I mean, come on, let's not be selfish. He wants the best for his kids. And this is my last comment. I can tell you this. Reason why I think he chose Colorado, and that man could have probably went anywhere that had Florida State. He could have went to Florida State. I guarantee he could have went to Florida State. But he went somewhere where he knows that he can bring his African-American brothers there, and he could bring the culture there, and he could be dominant. And that's a step up, 10 times step up what he had in the SWAC. And that's just bottom line. And that's what I think about it.
All right, man. Hey, thank you for calling, bro. I really appreciate it. Prime is a football coach, though. Him being a commissioner, like, that's first. I'm glad it went. That was never even a possibility. That man's a football coach. He shouldn't even have to do all of that. Number one, to get what he wants and to be satisfied. That man is a football coach. He shouldn't have to go. He shouldn't have to wear that hat just to get things to be where they need to be. What's up, caller?
Who's this?
Who's this?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is St. Louis Stanford. Hey, man, just calling to talk about what I saw with Deion Sanders. I look at YouTube, and him, his girlfriend. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. I saw him and his girlfriend, Shador, and Deion Jr. When they was walking around the Colorado athletic facility, if you look at Deion, man, he didn't look happy. Deion had some. It looked like he had second thoughts. Am I making a mistake? Is this where I want to be? If you look at Deion, Deion looked like a man that was walking around like, I'm forced to be here. You know, and I just wonder what really happened with Deion and Jackson State, the people in charge. Why is it, you know, normally when you win the SWAC conference, any conference, you get a bonus and an extension. He didn't get either. And I'd like to know what is up with that.
So
and this might be the reason why he just say, okay, you don't appreciate me, I'm not here.
All right, so I'm gonna answer what
go ahead.
I'm gonna answer what you said, and I'm gonna let you go because we got a lot of callers. So thank you for calling in. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nothing about his face is unhappy to me. Nothing about his face is unhappy to me. I don't think he regrets that decision. I think he feels. I think he feels empathy for how he, you know, for leaving those kids. You know, I do think that, but nothing on his face to me said I regret being here. Like, nah, not at all. So I mean, that's what you seen. That's cool. To me, he look happy. That man look happy. And let's not act like he didn't have a choice to put himself to be in that situation. He did. He chose to go to Colorado. He chose to go to Colorado. Nobody forced him there. Nothing happened between him and Jackson State. Nothing big enough happened between him and Jackson State that would push him to Colorado. That man left because he wanted to. And it's just as simple as that. So I don't agree with that one. Let me get to another call. Caller, you live.
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to be quick. I just got a few things, man. My biggest thing was I heard you earlier say, man, I agree with you, man. It's just, to me, it's just a matter of fact, hockey with Jackson State, man. He didn't, you know, I feel as though it was more about, you know, they didn't get to celebrate the victory. You know, you just won a championship and you get set in the team meeting room and told that your coach is leaving. And I feel as though it's a major distraction. As a former football player and a former college football player, like, you know, going to the national championship, the Black National Championship, the Celebration Bowl, that's a major distraction. And, you know, kids now are more sensitive than ever. So, you know, they might have like a side eye, like, well, I'm out here running these drills, doing this, you be ready to leave. I think it could have been handled differently. You know, and I understand, and you know, the move to Colorado, and I want Deion to succeed. And like you said earlier, I think me personally, it's going to take about 2 years for him to succeed, because white people paying $2 million to boot your club, they're not going for all that celebrity on the sideline if you ain't winning no games, you know. So you know, and then I was reading like the comments on Twitter and stuff like that about, you know, his sons and all, like he wanted to, you know, his shot, you know, at bigger things. But when people talk about the facilities and stuff like that, like he knew that coming in, like that. Everybody knows that HBCUs don't have the best facilities. So that's people talking about the facilities. He knew that. He go back to his interview when he was on I'm Athlete his first year. Like, he knew that the facilities wasn't all that up to par. So when people talk about the facilities, like, everybody knows they don't have the best resources at HBCUs. Like, that's nothing new. So if that's the case about facilities and stuff like that, why he picked the job in the first place? He could have said, no, this is just too much for me. I don't even have a practice for my guys to practice.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Maybe he reached that point later on in his tenure at Jackson State than in the beginning. In the beginning, you know, you, because of who you are, you think to yourself, okay, it's like this now, but I can change this. And to his credit, he has changed a lot of what Jackson State has had. So, you know, but because I feel like he knows what he's capable of as far as recruiting goes, I think maybe part of his decision to leave is just him realizing I can't, you know, as much as I want to, I know I could do this in a much bigger scale at Colorado. I think that's what he thought. And, you know, I'm not mad that he took the job, because we knew eventually he was going to leave. I'm happy for him. But I think that was just part of his thought process.
I just thought that he would leave till after his sons left, and I got into with I don't want to say an argument, but a conversation with a debate with somebody a couple weeks ago. I said if Prime ever got resources and a facility, at Jackson State, and he can do wonders, as far as recruiting, because now they can get the best of the best as far as resources and facilities and infrastructure and stuff like that, and support booster clubs and money. Now he gonna really be a problem in this college game. To me, in my opinion, man, personally, I just think right now he's the hottest coach in college football. Even hotter than Nick Saban, even though he ain't coached down in Colorado, just off his name alone, people don't want to play for that. Just Deion Sanders, I got coached by a legendary football player. Like people, coached by legendary coaches, but to be coached by a legendary football player, a person that's in the Hall of Fame that played the game, not no coach who was just a graduate assistant and worked his way up through the chains and stuff like that. Like that's where I think his recruitment just by itself is going to change the game, even with the USC's and the other schools in our conference. He gonna have his work cut out for him for sure. But that's just my last thing. And my last thing, I'm gonna land my plane here. And then the biggest thing I've been seeing when people say, black coaches, don't get this opportunity. That's true, but why Deion got this opportunity in Colorado because Deion, Willie Sims from FAMU, they've been winning for years, and he didn't get the Power 5 call, Bethune-Cookman, they was a powerhouse and killing the MEAC for a while. He didn't get the call, so, my thing is he got to call up. Me personally, that's how I feel. He got to call up. Of course, he was winning at Jackson State, but, outside of that, more than that is Deion Sanders. I'm going to land my plane there.
All right, man. Thank you for calling. So first of all, thank you for that $10 donation. You said, here's my list of players hitting the transfer portal tomorrow. Alejandro Mata. Ooh, that would be a big blow for sure because Jackson State has been having struggles with kickers for the past couple of years. Alejandro Mata, Sivion Wilkinson, I agree. Herman Smith, maybe. Travis, that's obvious. Cameron, of course. Kevin Coleman, yes. Kevrick Wiggins could be going too because his brother is a 3-star prospect who just completed his freshman year at Colorado. Kev could be right behind him. So I agree with Kevrick Wiggins going too. That would be my 6th guy. Kev going. I believe in that. Kevrick Wiggins is gonna find a way to get there with Brown. Caller, you live.
Okay, you talking to me, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Okay, how you doing? How you doing, Blitz City?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Doing good, bro. Just getting off from work. I was listening to Swag Buzz, and he was going off, and he mentioned your show was about to come on, so I was waiting to get off to give you a call. He kind of chopping up with you a little bit about the situation with Deion Sanders going out to USC. At first, I like to say, I want to congratulate him on what he's doing, what he brought to all of 1AA football, particularly black college football, where he put a spotlight on all the programs down here in the South and kind of pretty much nationally and what he did. I know he had a lot to deal with, but I want to thank him for what he did. He got the programs on national TV, more televised. You saw Byron Allen pick up the games and put them on HBCU Go. So I think it was great what he did. And, I'm happy for him. I know he had a lot of struggles there. But as far as him going to Colorado, I think instantly Colorado will instantly get to a bowl game. I think they'll get. You only need 6 wins. In fact, they were going to get Auburn a bowl waiver with 5 wins because they were 3 teams short of completing all the bowl games with teams to go 6-6. So they were actually going to accept 5 and 7 teams, and Auburn couldn't do it because Hugh Freeze got rid of most of the staff. So they turned down on the waiver to get a bowl game. So I think he'll make Colorado 6-6 and get them at least to a bowl game in the first year. And that's depending on what's going to go on with the portal. And I heard you say something about, USC about having to Lincoln Riley. Now he may have to recruit against Lincoln Riley, but remember Lincoln Riley is going to be gone. USC and UCLA will be gone in a year or 2. So he don't have to deal with them. So all he got to deal with is you guys, Oregon, Washington. And in y'all situation, the question going to be how long is Dan Lanning going to stay? Because, the people out here in Auburn kept mixing that man's name
had they not got Lane Kiffin or Hugh Freeze, they was talking about Dan Lanning. So at some point, Dan Lanning is going to jump. And I don't understand why all the coaches want to jump from Oregon. Oregon is a nice program with facilities and, you know, they got money back. Don't
even
Lanning going to be in Oregon 5 or 6 years before he goes.
Don't even get me started on my team, man. But listen, about that point about UCLA and USC leaving, yeah, they are leaving in 2024. That's 2 years from now. He gonna have to show something in them 2 years. You see what I'm saying? He gonna have to deal with them for these 2 years. If he don't show something in these 2 years, I don't think he gonna make it to when those two teams leave and it becomes easier for him. That's my point. That's my concern with him. Can he show enough in these 2 years? And you know, I'm gonna go on the record and say I do, but I'm still curious. I'm willing to put my money that he does, but my concern is can he show the boosters at Colorado enough in these 2 seasons to where they feel like, okay, we're going to invest everything because we know that in a couple more years, you are going to get us from out of mediocrity. That's my question for him. But hey, thank you for calling, man. Hey, Carly, you live.
How you doing, bro?
What's going on, man? Turn your background down. Turn your background down.
Is that good?
Yeah, you good. What's up?
That better, bro?
Yes, sir.
So this is what I wanted to say, man. I'm gonna try to be brief. Deion getting a lot of flack, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the way that he handled leaving JSU was very professional. When you talk about young black men, oftentimes we go to college with the intent of getting to the NFL. He showed young black men that change is constant. And we don't do well with change in our community. It's the reason why you can see so many rappers make it, go back to their hood, get killed. Because we can't let go. It's like we don't want to let us move on. So we get stuck. And what Deion did was he explained to them young men that as you go throughout life, things are going to change. You can either get emotional about it or you can adjust to it. He brought the JSU spirituality. He made sure that those young men carried themselves in a polished fashion. In 2 years, he did at that college what probably coaches haven't done in 20 years? The stands got fuller. The energy around the program got better. He invested money into the community. You got to think, man, they said the other programs at Jackson State started getting better recruitment because he was there. So I think it's tough when we as a community take one of our own and really just start nitpicking all of the stuff they didn't do. But what he did do was he went there and he did exactly what he said. 2 seasons now, if I'm correct. Back-to-back SWAC champions. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And now they're going for an undefeated season to win a bowl. Again, I don't know how much we can ask for when we talk about black leadership when a man that already has money, already has notoriety, says, look, I'm going to put all that on the line to come to a program and show you what can be done at this level. It opens up the world for these young black men. And when you watch what he went and said to those Colorado kids, he said, bottom line, I'm coming in here and I'm bringing some dogs with me. And the guys that I'm bringing would kill and die for the facilities you have, for the opportunities you have,
he did
for
say
the uniforms you have.
He did say
We're going to bring all that here. And if you don't want to be here, hop in the portal. I'm not going to come here and teach you how to get the NIL. I'm going to teach you how to get to the NFL. So a lot of those kids that play for him at Jackson State, professionally now, they ready to go to the pros. You can put a bag in their hand and they just ain't going to blow it. It ain't going to be some shit that can get into their pockets and change their life or ruin their life. And I think that's what we need to celebrate. The bottom line is change is inevitable, y'all. As adults, we know this. Mm-hmm. You can have your boss can hire you at the company today. Tomorrow, that boss that hired you is gone. Really? You don't quit the job. You don't leave the job because you still have priorities and things that you have to do. I think he needs to be celebrated. Nobody is perfect, but what he did, in the 2 years that he's been there, come on, man, it's hard not to commend that. Anybody hating on that, and particularly from our community, doesn't understand that change is something you have to learn and deal with. And as young black men, I am so glad that he's showing that message and teaching them kids, hey, man, don't get emotional and just jump in the portal. You might mess your career up. Your best opportunity might be here. The platform is laid. The TV is on. Because now next year, everybody's going to be expecting them to be trash.
Mm-hmm.
If the players come out and bond together and play, now it's really lights out for the people on that program. I appreciate you, bro, for having this platform. This is big. Our community needs more of this around a bunch of situations, man. Blessings on your life. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Hey, blessings to you, brother, man. You made a great point, man. I'm glad you called in. Thank you so much. Miss Elanius, thank you so much for the $10 donation. You said Deion left the way he did because one of his recruits was found murdered in a black Charger on campus, and that was the icing on the cake. Black people at HBCUs need to do better. R.I.P. Flynn Brown. So yeah, I heard about that shooting situation, but is it confirmed it was one of his recruits, or was it a high school kid who was on campus and got shot and killed? Because I don't know the truth to that situation, so that's not something that I want to speak on if I don't know that much about. So unless y'all can confirm it, listen. I don't know if that was a recruit or not, so I can't even talk about that. So we just gonna move on until we know the full details of that. But thanks so much for the donation. Caller, you live.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You live.
All right. So I'm an alum of JSU, Big Afro, 1975, and I've heard a lot of his discussions, right? And often I've heard him mention the Bible. God said this, and God told him this, and God told him that, right? However, he said so many things, and that I didn't feel him. I think that the athletic director said it best, unbeknowing. He said, we have been talking since October the 2nd. That's what the athletic director said.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, let's look at the picture. You're not there. You don't allow people to question you. Why not? I like Georgia. I like Kirby Smart, though I'm a SWAC man. I am SWAC. I am alum of Jackson State University, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he waited to figure it out for what, 6, 7, 8 years with his former coach that he defeated last year, right? And I just think that I posted about the Wizard of Oz. For some reason that came to my mind, right? The wizard had many, many faces. He said, bring me the bruising stick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll help you to get back to Kansas. But he was very, very deceptive. Now, in spite of what some of the other callers have said, what about he did this and that? My alma mater, the I Love, is over 100 plus years in existence. So we have had many men and women that are scholars that have proceeded to make sure that we stood still. Amen. And the bottom line is that he needed Jackson State as well as we needed him. He basically did a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, there are a few scriptures that I want us to remember, like in the book of Lamentation 4:18, it reads like this. They hunt our steps. They hunted our steps in Black Wall Street. They don't have a story to tell because they got rid of him. The Negro League was so exceptional. Jackie Robinson, Hammer and Hank Aaron. And then Branch Rickey said, hey, Jackie. So the Most High does appoint people. Now, lastly, maybe all of this is for Shador to make it to the NFL, but Steve McNair made it, and over 100 Jacksonians made it. And then I was looking at all of them, man. I'm upset. I'm upset because he had it. The Most High blessed him. And I disagree when he used the word he sent them to Colorado. Let's see, how do I say this here?
You know, the Bible talks about particular groups of people, and it represents the Romans and the Greeks. They were not good people that killed us all. And I land on that.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for calling, brother. Y'all got to chill out with these jokes. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Uh-oh. Yes, sir. Hey, Mr. Ford?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, hey, Mr. Ford, I've been waiting to hear your voice, man. How you doing?
All right. I'm going to come a little different. I was happy to hear that one of the people Jackson State is considering to replace Coach Prime is Willie Taggart. And I wanted to know what you've heard, because I think that Willie Taggart would be great for Jackson. But I want to know what you've heard. But I also want to know who would be your choice to be head coach at Jackson State to follow Coach Prime.
So if I'm Ashley Robinson, right, I'm gonna look. First of all, I'm gonna shoot my shot at these big names in football, right? You know, if Ray Lewis has expressed interest in coaching, I'm gonna shoot my shot because I want to keep that momentum going. And if I could get another celebrity in here, you know, because people thought Prime wasn't realistic, and it happened. So I'm gonna shoot my shot at these bigger names. But realistically, if that's not happening, I'm looking at that coach from Campbell, and I'm just wondering if I can take him. I'm wondering.
Mike Minter, right?
Mike Minter. I'm wondering if I can take Mike Minter away from Campbell because he's a great recruiter too. He was right there. He was right there with Coach Prime with having a top 2 recruiting class in the FCS. I believe he's got 4 stars on his own. Why not continue to keep it going with him? Also, the coach from Benedict, you saw what he did. He had him to an undefeated season.
Dennis Berry,
Coach Berry. He led them to an undefeated season, got them to the second round. They had a great season. I'm checking out Dennis Berry because I love his energy. You know, Willie Taggart, when it comes to Willie Taggart, because he coached Oregon. He coached us for like a year, and he left. And although I love the way Willie Taggart could recruit, one thing I never did like about Willie Taggart was that he could get up on a team in the first half of a game every week. He'll be up 30 to 10, and then he'll let go of that lead.
Right.
He could never keep a lead. And that scares me about Willie Taggart. I don't know if he's gotten over that. The fact that he's back on the job market tells me he ain't been doing that good of a job. So Willie Taggart can provide great recruiting, but if Willie Taggart ain't fixed that problem that he had when he was at Oregon or letting teams come back, I don't know. I don't know if I'm sold on him.
Let me ask you. Let me throw a name at you, and you tell me what you think about him. Michael Vick.
Listen, Mr. Ford, I don't know if Vic has an interest in coaching, but if he does, because I've heard Cam Newton, you know, I've heard Ray Lewis too. That's why I brought him up. But if they reach out to Vic and Vic accepts that coaching job, I'm not saying there's many people out here that can recruit the way Prime has been able to recruit, but if it was somebody who could match that, Vic would do it. Vic would do it. Vic is a household name, just like Prime is. Yeah. Vic has his own era of football where he merged the culture, the rap culture in Atlanta, and football together. Like he was really an icon. People will always know who Vic is. If Vic is able to come to Jackson State, that momentum will surely continue. Surely, it'll be a great thing. It'll be a great thing. I don't think the fall off in recruiting would be bad because I've never seen Vic coach. I don't know what the wins and losses will turn out to be, but recruiting wise, it'll be a game changer still.
Well, my last question. I watched the SWAC championship game yesterday, and I've come to the realization that the Southern University coaching staff is trash. I want to hear what you got to say about that because they just disappointed me so much yesterday. From the mishandling of that Brother McDaniels to the fact that you got all these playmakers and game changers on your defense, and you don't do nothing extravagant or exotic with them. I just want to hear what you did. You watched the game, right?
I watched a little bit of it. You know, I was out of the town, but I did watch a little bit of it. I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed with Southern in the way they go about things. You know, I honestly think they underachieved, even though they reached the SWAC championship this year with that record that they have. Because, I mean, when they got Jason Dumas before the season started, we said, oh, this is going to be, like, it should be a foregone conclusion that it's going to be Jackson State, Southern, in the SWAC championship. And even though it happened, they struggled to get there. And the fact that they struggled to get there says a lot about that coaching staff and the lack of preparation and the lack of work that they put in with that team. You calling them trash? I'm not gonna say they trash, but they heavily they were very underwhelming. And I think that some changes need to be made, and maybe, you know, a couple of them coaches need to look at themselves in the mirror and really take a look at if they got it or not, because that season should not have turned out the way it did for Southern University. Too much talent. Too much talent.
Well, Kobe, I want to say this before I hang up. I looked at Southern yesterday, and this is what I said. I said, now, if Southern is the SWAC West champion, then the SWAC West has to be incredibly weak, because Southern, from what I saw yesterday, a lot of talent, a lot of playmakers, worst coaching in the SWAC probably. But the fact that I think they had a 7-4 record. They look like a 5-6 record type team, or 6-6, or they look nothing like a winning team, and they won the SWAC West. To me, that says that SWAC West is tremendously weak.
And you know, watching them all season, they are. Let's be honest, they are. And I feel like a lot of these schools' biggest problem, they don't have a true quarterback. A lot of these SWAC schools have great athletes at the quarterback position, and then you wonder why you're so one-dimensional, and you wonder why you're struggling, and no one team can really pull away from the other. Y'all do not have, for the most part, you don't have a genuine quarterback at the position. I feel like you upgrade that player at quarterback, it's, you know, things will be a lot better for the West. But right now they just horrible. I can't stand the brand of football they play, because it's just it's one dimensional. I can't stand watching it.
Well, with the way that Southern looked yesterday, Southern is one of the premier blue bloods of black college football. One of the premier blue bloods of the SWAC. How long can Dooley stay at Southern with this underachieving and undercoaching and the fact that the team looks horrible? How long can he stay at Southern?
It's always hard to guess how long a team or how long an organization is willing to put up with being mediocre. But because we had all these high hopes for Dooley, and because of all the talent that he was taking away from these other schools when he made the switch, I'm gonna give Dooley about 2 years max. Like that would be me. I would give him 2 years. 2 more years. If I don't see a change,
2 more years.
Yeah, then I know what it is. I can't speak for other schools. You know, we saw other schools deal with it for a lot longer. For me, you got to show me something in those 2 years, or I'm gonna have to look elsewhere.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I've watched Dawson Odoms when he was head coach. Now, to me, from what I saw this year, Dooley can't compare to Dawson Odoms as a head coach. He can't compare to him. There's some things that they haven't had at Southern since Dawson Odoms left. Yeah. Well, listen, you have a good night, Cole.
Hey, thank you too, Mr. Ford.
Okay. Bye.
All right, so now I'm looking in the comment section. Y'all just throwing out any athlete now. No, I don't think Vic is a coach, but Vic could do wonders in the recruiting trail. Him as a head coach, I would hope they wouldn't make that move. I would hope. And I ain't even doubting Vic. It's just like he hasn't been a coach at any level. Like, to just bring him in, like you can't strike gold twice in that way, in my opinion. Eric Bieniemy is a great candidate. Eric Bieniemy is a great candidate. And my thing is, he's been wanting a head coaching job at the NFL level for so long. Would he be willing to take a SWAC head coaching job? And if he is a person who does, you can surely expect him to use HBCUs as a stepping stone, because he's already shown that he wants to be at the highest level as a head coach. He deserves to be. So if he shoot your shot at him, see if you can get him. If you get him, expect him to use any SWAC school as a stepping stone. Hey, Carla, you live.
Hi, how you doing tonight? I was calling in because just to make a quick comment, I think Coach Prime has done a fabulous and amazing job at Jackson State for HBCU overall. The only thing I must say, I am disappointed. I'm disappointed because our children need him, especially our black boys. Mm-hmm. They really do. He was making a difference. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I can remember is we at high school. I'm 60 now, but when I was in high school, this I'll never forget. We had a physics and an organic chemistry teacher that the Ivy League, they tried to recruit her from the black school, and it was all black high school. I mean, when I say she was heavily recruited, because she was amazing, but did you know she refused to leave because she realized that it was something bigger. And I really don't think it's about the bag for him. I don't believe that at all.
I don't either.
It's just, I don't know what it is, but I just think our boys needed him, and I just wish he would have stayed. Because it's so much more that I think he would have built a legacy that would have went down in history just for our black boys, because that's something they don't have anywhere else. Not what he was given. They don't find that anywhere else. And I just wish he would have stayed, but since he has chosen to leave, I do wish him all the luck, because I know he's an amazing man. And what I have seen him do, and I'm not a big sports fan, but I have always followed him from when he was in Florida with the little kids, and just watching his interactions with our black boys. Just as a mother, I was like, I wish I could just move, because I would surely have my child up under him, you know? And I just wish he would have stayed for that reason, because our kids, our black boys, they need it. So that's just my comment.
Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
Okay, you have a good night.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, my Mr. Ford already called in.
I just showed you said Mr. Ford.
It's a little late. Yo, my mom is a big fan of Mr. Ford every time she calls in. I mean, every time he calls in, so she kind of upset that she missed it. You can replay it back. Replay it back. She find Mr. Ford funny, so she. Hey, Carla, you live?
Yes, thank you for taking my call. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
No, I was going to say, get in, chime in a little bit. I think that him leaving, I think some of the mixed emotions we get right now with him leaving, I personally think he was too big for Jackson State, and he was like a talent thing. I mean, it would have been if he would have stayed there another good 5 to 10 years, it would have been a huge imbalance in black college football. Just a huge imbalance because of who he is. I didn't think he would leave this soon, but I never really thought that he would stay that long anyway, because his presence alone, what he brings to the table is just that much. But what he did do, he brought a lot of corporate dollars to black college. If you look around the black college scene, you'll see that a lot of schools have upgrades in their fields, and that's goes for the D2 on down. They have contracts now. He helped bring that to black college and shed a light on that. So him leaving, I never really thought that he would stay that long, but I'm glad that he came, because what he did do, he brought, from an economic standpoint, he brought he said a lot of black attention to black college football, which we all need, which I played black college football, which we all needed at that time to update facilities and things of that nature. It's a lot of work to be done in black college, and I think that some of the other coaches and other guys, can step in there, but I wouldn't want to see Jackson State become a stepping stone. The only drawback I don't want to see Jackson State become, or any other black college become a stepping stone for a coach to come in there and then just leave. Even though that does happen in coaching, but I think that they should bring a little bit more to the table, because Deion is exceptional. He's not even to me, his presence, who he is not normal. He's been exceptional throughout his career. He wasn't even a normal corner. If you remember him playing, he wasn't even a normal corner. Like, he was God-given athletic ability. He was the worst person to tell your cornerback to mimic, because he was so dang on fast and had all that athletic ability. So he could compensate for a lot of stuff. It's sort of like how he is with his coaching. He can compensate for a lot of things with his presence the other coaches can't do, so that can't be mimicked. And it's not, in other words, it's not natural. It's not a natural progress when you think of a coach coming in who didn't know, who don't too many people know about. It's not a natural progress. So we're going to be fair with Jackson State, but I wish them the best. And I think Jackson State, they're winners. Their program is going to keep on winning because they raised the bar. And when you raise the bar like that, you're going to that means you're going to have to recruit a higher caliber coach to maintain that program. What say you?
Right. Hey, but thank you so much for calling, man.
Thank you.
All right, so going forward, make y'all takes a little bit quicker, all right? So that way we can get through all these calls. Some people have been waiting since we started. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just hear a lot of beeping in the background. I'm calling from Alabama, but I'm born and raised in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Jackson State just got to keep winning. I mean, we can recruit, but does that mean you're going to win if you recruit? Now, if you're talking about a big name, and if you don't want to have another Deion stay 2 years and leave, I think you would have to maybe get a seasoned guy who's not going to go anywhere for 5 to 6 years. And the name that comes to mind for me with NFL background, I might get laughed out the building, but Jim Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell?
Jim Caldwell.
What?
Signed to a 5-year, 6-year contract till he retires. He can be a mentor. He's been in the Super Bowl, Coach Peyton Manning. I mean, he can't get an NFL job now for some reason. He shouldn't have been fired from Detroit. If you're going to go the NFL route, you really don't want the Ray Lewis and the Michael Vick who's going to use you as a stepping stone. So I think someone like Jim Caldwell, as far as X's and O's now, I don't know about the recruiting, but, recruiting is a tricky game anyway because, you sort of want a mentor for your children.
I understand it, but if you go on, like, if I see you saying, like, okay, Jim Caldwell, I mean, I might as well, I would go ahead and go Herm Edwards. Like, that would be it for me.
Herm Edwards he got in too much trouble at Arizona State. There's too much stuff there with NCAA violations. No. Plus, Herm Edwards is not really a winner per se.
Arizona State has always been that kind of program. I don't know how much blame he did some questionable things, right? I don't know how much blame I'm going to put on him because a lot of the things that went on behind the scenes to even get Herm up, because a lot of those people didn't want Herm in there anyway, so they sabotaged him just a little bit to get him out quicker. So I don't know how much I'm going to put on him. But when it comes to Jim Caldwell, I don't know. And, because we can say that, okay, a guy like him probably wouldn't go anywhere, but, I mean, he did coach in the NFL, and if he does have kind of a Coach Prime impact and turn that program around in a quick amount of time, faster than people expected, he could be offered a bigger job too. Like, and he can very much use Jackson as a stepping stone to get somewhere bigger too. You know, so you can never say never when
he's 7 years old. He's not going to go anywhere. If you sign him to a 5-year deal, he's not going to go anywhere at 7. NFL's not even hiring him. They're not even interviewing him. So he can't.
But it wouldn't just be if a college team sees that you got something special in a coach, they're gonna try to take it. Cause they gonna throw the bag at him. If he having a great impact in Jackson State, and they see it, and somebody struggling, but they got that checkbook, they're gonna throw a bag at him. But I honestly don't even think he's. I don't know, man. I don't really think he's a good fit. I didn't even really like him in Detroit.
I'm only saying that because we're throwing out names like Michael Vick, who's not a coach.
Listen. Michael Vick is not. Michael Vick ain't happening. Michael Vick ain't happening. What I think Cam would be the closest that they would go to that anyway. And I don't even know why they're talking to Cam, but they is. But nah, Vic has no lick of coaching experience whatsoever. Huh?
Cam would be a horrible decision. That would be suicide, man.
Listen. These are just names that's being thrown out, and that they just filling out. I don't think it's gonna happen. But Vic ain't even a good ESPN reporter, in my opinion. And that's no diss to him because I love Vic. I can't see him leading the team. I think he'd only be good for recruiting purposes. It ain't happening. It ain't happening as no head coach. So like we don't even got to worry about him or Cam as the coach.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying if you're just talking about X and O's and about football.
Yeah, you like Jim Caldwell. I get you. Hey, thank you so much for calling, bro. Hold on. Markel, I seen you in here. Andrew Body to Jackson State and TC. If Andrew, I don't know. Like you telling me, like, hey, matter of fact, hit me up. Hit me up. I'm gonna hit you because if you telling me that's gonna be crazy. Shout out to my guy Bridge on Stop. Hey, trust me, one of the best, most slept on shows on YouTube, man. This man's show is amazing. All right, he got this segment that he like to do called with the City Boy sound, man. Like anytime I'm on his show, I absolutely love it. So y'all need to go check out Bridge on Stop because that man don't got nearly enough subscribers. Y'all are sleeping on this man's show. I absolutely love being on. Hey, Carly, you live?
Hey, brother, how you doing? How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Hey, I heard the caller that called in and was talking about we need to get someone that's going to stay there. Look, I don't want anyone that nobody else wants. If we get a coach, I want it to be a coach that rises to a level that other people want him. If that means we got to lose him, we got to lose him.
Uh-huh.
But to bring someone in with the expectation that nobody else is going to want them, I don't want that. Who wants that?
Hey, that's a great point. That's a great point.
That's mediocrity. That's building to mediocrity. That's building to average. We don't want average. A C is an average. We don't do average. We're going for A. We're going for 4.0. We're not doing average. That's part of our mindset is that we think we'll do average.
Uh-huh.
Prime came in here and showed us that. What did he say? HBCUs are good enough for 4- and 5-star athletes. That's our mindset now.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be. We cannot revert back to this. I just want somebody that's just gonna stick with us. No.
Yes.
If we get somebody in here and after 2 or 3 years Tennessee comes calling, Arkansas comes calling, then we doing the right thing.
You know what? Hey, preach, man. Preach. Go ahead, because I'm loving what you. Go ahead.
Anything less, and then we are less. We went over to the land of milk and honey and came back with a report talking about we are grasshoppers and they're giants. No, we're giants and they're grasshoppers. We're the 12,000 pound elephant. It's the 200-pound dog. No, we're not doing that no more. We're not doing that mindset no more. That mindset is pure poison. And when we feed that to our kids, they take on that mindset that they not good enough. No, absolutely not. Nip that foolishness in the bud. That's it. That's all.
Man, hey, thank you for calling. Hey, I agree with everything you said. All right, thank you so much for calling.
Yes.
Facts. Please do not go back to that mindset. Please continue to go after these high-value prospects. Do not go back to thinking small. Don't. Y'all have made too much progress as a community in this HBCU football stuff to go back to that mindset. I pray to God that does not happen. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, how you doing, man? I got a quick question. Do you think, since Prime is supposed to be coming back to do the bowl game, that he's going to be met with a whole bunch of hostility and boos? Because every channel that goes live on YouTube since he left has been crucifying Deion. So I just wonder if, he's going to come back to the game and get met with a whole lot of, are they going to boo him up out of there, you think?
I don't think so. I think the love that, for as much hate as Prime gets for leaving for Colorado, he still has that much amount of love and admiration and respect for what he was able to do for Jackson State. So now I don't think anybody abuse. It might be a few people who are ignorant enough, but the majority, no, I don't think they boo him. It's the Celebration Bowl, number one. I think the focus is going to be on getting that ring just so you can have some bragging rights before whatever happens the next season happens. So I think that's where the focus is going to be, ending this thing on the right note. I don't think he'll be booed by the majority. I hope not.
Cool. All right. I just want to say thank you and love the show, man.
Hey, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Y'all, please don't go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium booing this man. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, what's going on, Blue City? Good show tonight.
What's good, bro?
This Monty calling in from Detroit. So I heard a couple callers back mention about Caldwell that coached the Lions, which was actually one of the best coaches that we actually had in Lions history, and we let him go prematurely. And he's actually a pretty good coach. Got the foundation from Purdue, but he's straight. He's getting a nice piece of change sitting at the crib. But he is a good coach, X's and O's. Same thing on moral character and stuff like that. God, family first type stuff with the same as Deion. A little more. He's a little old school. I really liked him as a coach. But here's the thing with what we're not talking about with the Jackson State job and HBCU jobs. That Deion was talking to some of the other NFL players that he knows have interest in coaching. That he had to be the chief cook toilet washer. It wasn't just coming in. Like, now that he's at Colorado, he gets to go in. He's getting $5 a year. His coaching, he has a $5 million budget for his coaches and assistants. So all of them get elevated as well. And he'll be able to go and actually really focus on recruiting and things like that. He got the facilities and all that. He had to come into Jackson and do everything, including getting them out of bad business deals, that these contracts that should have never been made. Remember when Deion was even saying on the SWAC press conference to the schools, why are we going and play these schools? They got all this money, and we going for chump change. If y'all going to go get beat up by these schools, at least get beat up for $1 million. It's like back in the day, like, I think I beat Mike Tyson. Yeah, I fight Mike Tyson if I was going to get $1 million, because you're going to need half of it for the hospital. But our HBCUs have just made a lot of bad business decisions and all these traditions and stuff. And Deion came and was a disruptor. And had he failed and was getting blew out like everybody was talking that mess when they had that little spring COVID system, which as a football fan, I don't even count that. That wasn't a full season. He didn't have his players and pieces together, so you couldn't count that. But once he got his stuff together, he done ran the tables on everybody. And how many times we're gonna sit here and just watch Jackson State just keep beating everybody? Because who was gonna get better to actually beat Jackson State? They would have it'd been like the Bulls. He would have ran off 6 straight like Michael Jordan, and that wouldn't have been no fun.
Think so?
I mean, when you just look at, you got to think about Deion is a competitor by nature. The man played both football and baseball at the highest levels in everything he did. I mean, I grew up. I'm 45 years old. I mean, when Deion left Atlanta, went to the 49ers, won with them, and then Dallas went and got him. I mean, that was nobody in the NFL have done that. So I think he likes the challenges. He's like going in, being counted out. I watched some of the I watched all the press videos with the Colorado thing. Listen to his mentality going in. Colorado already. I was watching at one of the broadcasts for their program. They're already donations. They didn't got that $30 million they might get Prime back. They done made that back today, just from the alumni and the boosters. That's how excited it is in Boulder right now. And he gonna be able to be Prime. They want Prime, And when you think about Colorado, people don't realize Mel Tucker, who's at Michigan State, was just there a couple years back, had a good year, and he left, and he came over to the Big Ten, and Mel Tucker making $9.5 million at Michigan State. Now I'm hoping that he gets a chance to turn Michigan State around, and Michigan State give him as much time as Michigan gave Harbaugh, because Harbaugh should have been gone all this time. Now U of M is clicking, but normally, unfortunately, our coaches, especially African American, we don't get a chance to, turn it around, as some of the white coaches do. But we'll see. But the brother is getting paid, though.
We will see. He damn sure getting paid. Hey, thank you so much for the call, man. I'm about to start speeding through these calls now. We got to pack it up. Hey, calling you live.
Yo, what's going on, man?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
All right, man. I got a couple of questions for you about with the whole Jackson State situation and everything. Now, I'm sure, with Jackson State and pretty much the rest, like the SWAC conference, how they choose to not go to the playoffs and go to the bowl, go to the the Celebration Bowl and whatnot, right? Do you think that in the future it would benefit HBCU players if they potentially start going to the playoffs and competing and get to the point where they can compete with these other FBS schools? And then if they can do that, do you think that they will be able to get a lot better players? Because you see, like a lot of your top FCS players don't go to HBCUs. They're at your South Dakota State, Sacramento State, or et cetera. But do you think if these HBCUs decide to show that they can compete in the playoff system, that a lot of players would just stay and go to this area instead of going to these other bigger FCS schools if they're not going for 5 or group of 5?
Say that question to me one more time, because I was doing something. Say that one more time.
My bad. So basically what I was saying is, in the FCS football level, how you have schools like Sacramento State, South Dakota State, they go to the playoffs, right? They're in the playoffs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the HBCU teams, that they choose to not go to the playoffs, they have the Celebration Bowl. I was wondering, do you think it would be beneficial for HBCUs to eventually join the playoffs, start competing, until they get to a point where they can compete with these other teams?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because from a money standpoint, it's just not beneficial for you. It is not a smart move to lose money And you're losing more money the further you advance in the playoffs. Ironically, it just doesn't make sense to lose money to compete in the playoffs when you have a bowl game who is willing to pay you a couple mil to compete and win. It's not lucrative. It doesn't make sense. I would love to see HBCUs in the playoffs had it been lucrative for them, but it's not. So no, if you're gonna lose money, don't be a part of it. But anyways, man, I think
Well, last question. So, what would you say? How can we get, HBCUs to a point where the money can't be where the money won't be a problem, where they can compete with these other schools? Because if you look at the talent, like in these other FCS schools, they're killing them. So, how can we get it to a point where we can send all of our HBCUs to the regular playoffs and have them play with the best of the best at the FCS level?
Here's the thing with that. It's not just an HBCU problem that the playoffs isn't lucrative for them. Multiple PW, a lot of those PWIs that are in the playoffs, they're losing money. North Dakota State is losing money being in the playoffs. Sacramento State undefeated, I think. Yeah, they're undefeated. They losing money. Holy Cross it's not just HBCUs. It's not an HBCU thing when it comes to the playoffs. It's them. It is the FCS format and the way that they need to make money to keep that thing going. It's really not an HBCU thing. But listen, man, I appreciate you calling. I got to get to everybody else, man. Thank you so much. Hey, caller, you live.
Oh, yeah, brother. Thank you for having me. I just want to be brief real quick, but I'm looking at it a little different light. I think we forget who we talking about here. We're talking about prime time Deion Sanders. I mean, this guy, he's been a rapper. He's been in the music industry at the top level. He's baseball at the top level, TV shows, football. I mean, he's done it all. So we're talking about a guy that he's connected. He's an elite guy. So the people he knows, I mean, you couldn't expect him to stay at Jackson State for that long. I mean, he wasn't going to stay that long. I mean, he's just destined to coach on the next level. And I think he's done a great job at Jackson State. I think he's going to do a great job at Colorado. When it comes down to, the HBCUs, we all want to see, the HBCUs advance and things like that. We got to understand what type of world we live in. We don't live in a world, and just to be honest, we don't live in a world where, that it really want to see black advance like that. And if you're being honest, that's true. So when we talking about that, I heard a caller say something about rappers, they're going back to their hometown and getting killed. Well, you got to understand something. Anybody from the street, any real person from the street, if you make it big and you real and you from the street, you want to take it back home and you want to look out for your hood and you want to make sure everything's straight. That's any real person from the street.
All right.
But the industry don't want that. They don't want that. So any real rapper from the street that honestly want to see their hood do better, like people think that, well, yeah, they go back to their hometown, they go back to their hood, and yeah, they get killed. Why you always going back to your hood? No, man, people don't understand how the game really works. People don't understand that how things are designed to keep black people down. And if black people don't stand up for each other and start loving each other, we ain't gonna never get better. Deion can't make the black community better. He can't do that by himself, and he play a small part in that. Yeah, he help a little bit, but we gotta want to be better and do better for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When the world is against you, you gotta come together and rise up. You just can't think they gonna hand it to us. They're not gonna hand it to us. You talk about black cities that was thriving without the help of the white man, and they come and they burn the whole city down. And this not too long ago. So you got to understand what type of world we live in. You got to understand, even though he is he's an awesome football player, awesome coach, you don't go to an HBCU when most HBCUs you're surrounded by the hood. Just to be honest with you, you're probably gonna be pretty close to a hood. You know, where black people we want the lavish life. We the jewelry, the cars, the clothes, everything that we be paying for.
Right. So all right. So but like so what you trying to say?
So what I'm trying to say is, man, this thing, I believe that he knew he was going to Colorado from the jump, bro. I believe that this thing was planned out from the jump. At the very beginning of this thing, he said it don't need to be that because like I said, it's designed to keep black people down. If you're not really for the black people, then it's gonna come out. You know what I'm saying? It'll come out. If you're not willing to ride and die for them, it'll come out, and the world will get you to a place where you get tired and you'll give up, and you're not gonna risk your family, and most of the time you shouldn't. But we just gotta understand really like the industry, man, and this thing that we live in. You know, a lot of these sports and a lot of this stuff, man, Vegas, over and unders, and how these people will be knowing what it's gonna be and how it's gonna be. People understand a lot of this stuff, man, and it's just me. It's planned out, bro. It's professional. It's not high school. It's not little league. It's professional. It's all about the money.
Yeah, listen, they definitely said that they were talking to him like right before homecoming. So yeah, it was definitely planned. You do have a point there. But listen, I got to get to the rest of these callers, man. But thank you so much for calling in, brother. Shout out to my guy HBCU Band Talk. Do yourselves a favor. And if you like band content, especially from HBCU, you definitely need to check out my guy, man. Great content, I promise you. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, Kobe, how you doing tonight?
How you doing, man?
How you doing?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Man, I was just sitting looking at your face, bro. You look so tired.
I've been up all day. Man. Go ahead.
Hey, man. Man, just watching black people just talk bad about Deion, man, just got me feeling so bad, bro. Because he the only reason why I even came to watching HBCU football just in general. I think personally, like the first thing that the school probably should do is sit down and reevaluate on their end what they're willing to do in order to have a program. It seemed like Prime was doing everything. I seen one clip. I heard that he was paying for all the meals when they was going to these hotels. It just seemed like he was doing a lot. Like he had a lot of roles, and I know that some of that he probably knew of, but I'm quite sure it was a lot of it that he didn't know about. And so, from that standpoint, I think like the schools should really like sit down and evaluate, based off of the numbers and stuff that they have with Prime, they should sit down and evaluate, what they can and what they cannot do, so they can provide that stuff to the new coach, so the new coach will know ahead of time whether or not he want to take the job or not.
I think anybody who's up for an HBCU job or is even considering a job at an HBCU should, like, I feel like you already know, which unless you're just that far out of touch, you know what you're getting into with an HBCU. That's why I don't really go for the talk of how like they didn't really have much to work with and they had to do too much. You knew this before you accepted the job, and you still chose to accept the job.
Kobe, imagine you taking a job and the company telling you they're gonna pay you $1.5 million, and they never do that. You know what I'm saying? It's always an excuse why your money is short or why stuff ain't there. you would look at them a little different. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that he needed the money, but
definitely
at the same time, man, it just seemed like he had a lot going on. Yeah, man, it just seemed like he had a lot going on, bro. And I just feel like everybody giving that man a bad rap for no reason at all. They don't know what happened behind the scenes. I heard some other stuff as well. I got a few. Well, actually, I got a few connects that's within the program myself, and I heard a few things, but I'm just saying, like, it just seemed like it was way more than what's out there. Everybody painting a picture that it was on Deion, but I think a lot of it had to do with the president and the AD as well. Well, not the AD, more so the president. I heard that the president was doing stuff under tap. You know what I'm saying? Undermining the man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't doubt it happened.
Deion can only do so much. Huh?
I don't doubt that happened. I mean, there has been times early on in Coach Prime's tenure with Jackson State where he tried to make a certain change and he would get pushback from other people in the program. As a matter of fact, I specifically remember him trying to take away the track, like just suggesting that we take away the track, get the track team a new track away from our practice field so they can have their own practice field. The SWAT and the Jackson State track coach was like, nah, like what you talking about? Like it was pushback on that. So like, nah, I don't doubt that he got pushback from higher ups inside the program.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you this. What do you think about this, man? I was thinking about people been asking questions about what the schools do to keep the momentum. I think like the schools, I don't know, like the SEC athletics and stuff, they meet down in Florida. What if the SWAC did something like that where all the presidents and talk about challenges and ways that they can overcome them challenges and stay on top? What do you think about that? Do you think that's even feasible?
Yeah, I do. Will they do it? Most likely not. I mean, these are problems that they've been having for a long time. Like, they know what their problem is, and they've heard the pushback that we've been giving them to fix certain things, and they still haven't done it. You feel me? So, yeah, it's more than possible, but it's not going to happen. I have no faith in them doing that whatsoever. Well, listen, I gotta get to the rest of these callers, man. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, man, I was going to get off the car, man. You enjoy the rest of your night, man. Appreciate you taking my call.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Okay. Let's put that on my bit. Hello?
Yo.
Yes, sir. What's good with you?
Oh, man, it's all good, man. Let me tell you, man, I got family in Jackson. I actually have a farm in northern Mississippi, man. And this was a cathartic call, man. I mean, this was a cathartic session, man. And people get on and really express their emotions. So I'm glad I was a part of this experience. I went to Morehouse College. We didn't have the gold domes. We got two statues, one of Mays and one of Dr. King. And we don't have the gold domes, but we send more black men to medical school than any other school in the nation. And so when we talk about facilities, I feel like I have skin in the game as much as the facilities matter, but then again, the facilities don't matter. I was a little heartbroken, man, but then after thinking about it, listening to other people talk and, people calling them sellouts and stuff like that, I think that was it. I was taking it a little far. Mm-hmm. The last thing, man, I think the reason why Shador went to Jackson State is because I don't think he would have got a chance to get on the field as a true freshman at those other schools. So this was his opportunity to shine immediately, and I think that's the reason why he went to Jackson State.
You don't think he would have got on the field at FAU like he wouldn't have had a chance?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with FAU's roster, so I don't know. But at Florida State, I don't think he would have got on the field immediately. And so that's kind of the consideration. I'm a Shiloh fan, man. I hope he stays at Jackson. I hope he's safe. I'm gonna still watch Alabama State.
Eddie Robinson Jr. And the other thing too, man, is the people are expecting these people to be Eddie Robinson from Grambling and stay there for 30, 40, 50 years. And I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I think that's why we're disappointed, is because we're so used to what one of the previous callers said, is we're so used to that staple and not having to deal with change. Whereas Eddie Robinson was the pinnacle of coaching, and he stayed there for 40, 50 years. So that's kind of, I think that's where that emotional piece comes in as well.
Mm. Okay, I get you. Thank you so much for calling, man.
Hey, man, you got to.
All right. I'm gonna take two more calls. So we're gonna get up out of here. Two more. Caller, you live.
Okay, I'll be quick and just add my 2 cents in. I think that the main issue as an HBC graduate of 2 HBCUs was the intention of the communication of Deion. I think he gave people the impression that, he was there for HBCUs, not for his career, not for his son, but for HBCUs and people that go to HBCUs. They're serious about it. My parents went to one, my sister went to one, my sister works with one, I went to 2. Not a job for a lot of people. I think that's the big thing, is just when you communicate and you tell people that you're for something when that's not true. I think with anybody, that's a lie. And that's all I say.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, brother. All right, let's make this last call a good one, please. Caller, you are live. Talk to me.
Blitz City, how you doing, brother?
What's going on with you, man?
Man, good, man. New to the channel, man. I love everything you're doing. Real quick, I got a question. I listened to Coach Prime's press conference today, and I think I heard this pretty clear. That he said he mentioned Colorado willing to do something for JSU, even from a monetary standpoint. I'm gonna go back and listen to it, y'all. Somebody that might, correct me on that. But if Prime sets up $1 million money game with JSU, should they take that game, or could that be destructive or productive to JSU?
What, like next year?
You know how he feel about money game.
Like next?
I know it won't be next year, but let's say if it's a year or two on down the line, you say, hey, I want to give back to JSU. Let's do $1 million, $2 million money game. Should JSU take that back?
No.
Or would that be destructive?
I would do not fall for that. I would not fall for that. Nah, man, that's publicity stunt all the way. Like, because we know what the lines will be about. And I'm not finna. First of all, you're not even finna play me in front of national TV like that, talking about, man, I used to coach at Jackson State. I know y'all can use the money. Let me pay y'all this meal to come up here and get whooped by me, your former coach. I don't think so. Like, don't even play with me like that. If you know Jackson State. Nah, I'm not taking that. Thank you so much for calling in, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, I'm gonna take one more because we could barely hear the last one. One more. Caller, you live.
Yes, I just watched the conference with Deion Sanders, and he's giving them the same line that he gave to us when he came here to Jackson, that he was sent here by God. To me, in my opinion, he is playing with God, because God don't send you somewhere for a little while. He didn't say he will supply some of your needs. He said he will supply all of your needs. And in that case, he's not sending you here to be here a year or 2 years and leave. Just like the caller said earlier, the first offer he got, he always said it was not about money. But that's not true. The first offer he got, and if something came about when they went to the Memphis for the Classic, And Deion said that they were not going to go there next year. They, questioning why were we taking the money down to Memphis? Why were we going to Memphis? I think it all started there because he had in the beginning had no intention of leaving until that came about. But again, he's playing with God. God doesn't say he's going to supply some of your needs. He's going to supply all of your needs.
Okay, hey, well, thank you so much for getting that opinion out, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
Thank you.
Ooh, all right. Listen, I asked y'all to air out y'all opinions, and y'all did. Y'all definitely did. Somebody said 80. Ashley Robinson, 80 Robinson was the call. Hey, if he called for real, let me know the last four of his number, and then I'll wait. I'll wait if that was really him. Otherwise, I'm gonna get up out of here. So if that was him, tell me the last four so I can accept the call. Bridge, what's your last four, Bridge? What's the last four? I don't know if I see you. $62, $42. Yeah, I don't see you. Hold on. Listen, man. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yes, sir. What's good, bro?
Yo, the mayor of Blitz City. What's up with you?
What's up? Hey, and to everybody listening, though, I'm telling you, if you ain't subscribed to my man Bridge on Stop with the pre-snap read, bro, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, man. Hey, go ahead, bro.
Man, all I gotta say, it must be the money. hey, it must be the money. But all jokes aside, man. So prime time for me, I'm gonna just give you an analogy because that's the best way. You know how I go.
Yeah,
prime time is working in the soup kitchen, bro.
You said what?
Working in the soup kitchen, and he basically trying to doing what players did back in the day, making something out of nothing. All they gave him was slop, and he making 5-star meals with slop. And other people started seeing these 5-star meals. They was like, oh, okay. But at the end of the day, like, you're at a job. It's not like this is the end all be all for Jackson State. When you go to a job, the first thing you do or the first thing you want from a job is to level up. And if you can't level up, then you have to take your talent somewhere else. People grow. People want to move up. People want to move in different spaces. At this time, he probably was like, I feel like I have seated on my knees at an HBCU. Let me go to a PWI now, see if I can see it on my knees there. And guess what? If he fails, guess what he can do?
What?
He can come right back down, and people are going to love him.
You think?
Y'all gotta go ahead.
You think Jackson State will take him back if things don't go well in Colorado?
Did LeBron come back to Cleveland?
Just like that, huh?
Just like that. LeBron came back. They done forgot about you in Miami. It was like, oh, LeBron, thank you, Lord. We've been losing for all this time. Thanks for coming back. If he fails, he fails. But guess what he can come back to? He can come back to the slack anytime.
Hey, you absolutely right, bro. Hey, thank you for calling in, dog.
All right, I'm gonna holler at you later on tomorrow, bro.
All right, do that, bro. Do that. I'm gonna get up with you.
All right.
That's my dog. That's my dog, man. Y'all definitely subscribe to his channel. Listen. How do y'all still get the? All right, it's 3 people in here. Call it, you live.
What's going on, bro?
Yes, sir. What's going
on, man? I thank you for taking my call, man.
Ain't nothing.
Yeah, man. I wanted to say a couple things, man. First of all, this is where I want to start off, man. People need to realize this, man. When it comes to Jackson State, they can cry, they complain, they can say what they want to say. This is a wake-up call. People want to say that man was playing with God and want to say that this is a religious thing, that he was lying and everything. How about this perspective? How do y'all think that, or what do y'all think about that the wake-up call or him sent by God was a wake-up call for y'all? This man came to the platform of an HBCU. He could have went to any other. He came on a platform that was already rich in tradition, and he elevated or reminded you of what your value was. How y'all don't know that God sent him there to be so the SWAC or the HBCUs can be reminded of who you are? That can be God calling. So again, all Coach was like a car shop. The SWAC and the HBCUs are like a fine tuned vintage car, and the transmission was slipping or the struts was loose over time. And Deion came in as the body shop and repaired it and restored it. Now he has given us back the keys to drive it off the lot. So that means we have it in our hands. The AD at Jackson State, the president of Jackson State, they need to be in a Jerry Jones situation where the mentality is attention, where it means that he left the kettle hot. Go get somebody that's going to be a big name, like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, somebody who's already in coaching. There's a lot of guys out there that you can find that still kind of got that I believe mentality and cash in. Another thing, the SWAC commissioner, this is your time to show that the money that you get in your billfold is connected to what you say you believe for the SWAC. This is your time, sir, to reach out, just like the MEAC commissioner did when he invented the Celebration Bowl. This is your time to reach out to the other HBCU conferences. And just like the college football just expanded to a 12-team playoff, this is the time for HBCUs, all four conferences, to focus on yourself, because Deion has already reminded everybody of who we are and how rich in tradition that we are. Get in contact like that man did. Make a 14 playoff with the CIAA, SIAC, MEAC, and SWAC. Make a 14 playoff, because trying to get in an at-risk bid in the playoffs with FCS is null and void to us. We're not getting anything from us. And two, when we play in and we get knocked out the first round, there is no meaning to that. Whereas you can have your own platform, you can have it with your own media rights. You already got HBCU Go. And same thing with ESPN. We all know after Deion leaves, they're not going to show anymore on ESPN. But what you do is you can go in to ESPN and say, hey, you're already familiar with us. How about you make an ESPN HBCU? Or make sure you get some type of grant rights where they're showing games on NBC, because there's so many basic cables. When the games are not shown on, they got infomercials. You can do that. The commissioner and them need to go in right now while it's hot. Go get all media. There's another thing as well, Blitz City. Just like Well-Off Media is leaving, there is somebody else on the platform that can go in, call Barstool. Just like they was willing to work. Do you know that everything back with I Believe, they can do a whole nother chapter of I Believe Part 2, the after years. It's so much that HBCU was basically reminded that you got what you need. Just go forward. And that man reminded you, he just dusted us off. Because he could have went to any other school, but nobody else got the tradition that we have. Nobody else is hot like we are. Nobody else is in depth like we are. He can't even help himself because we got so much. We helped him through what he was trying to get through. He couldn't go nowhere else to get that assistance. He just helped. It was from one to another. So these people that's called these folks with this spiritual awakening, talking about he lying on God and all this stuff, people been so confused and being lied to so much. They've been thinking that everything is miracle water when it really is water from Flint. They need to realize what it really is. The call from God really could have been an awakening for you to know that your value is way more than what it should have been. This is the time to keep recruiting those guys. They can't be everywhere. Don't you know the NIL is not going to stop now because Deion gone? You still can recruit a player. This is an awakening call.
Every AD, every HBCU, if y'all know these AD, y'all know these presidents, tell them to go in. It's still hot. Go in now. Go in now. Get Ray look, somebody. They need to even get a white coach that's a high-end name. Get somebody. The time is now. And like I said, man, those media rights, they need to make sure that HBCU channels and everything can need to be on every platform. But thank you for taking my call, man.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. You came in hard. I love it, man. Thank you so much. Hey, Boom, if you still in here, man, I don't see your number because I know you've been trying to get in. I don't see your number, man. Caller, you live.
Hello, Cole? Cole?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm looking at it from a different perspective, Cole.
Okay.
I'm looking at it. Did you know what the assistant coach was making at Jackson State?
No, I don't.
They were making $25,000. They 26% below assistant coach's rate. Remember, Deion said he didn't need the money, but pay his assistant coaches.
Right.
You answered earlier when you said it's the administrators, it's the front office. As long as you have problems with the front office, Cole, you're not going to be productive and leveling the playing field. Now, I want Deion to stay. I'm going to say he's gone, but if Deion keep building, right, and they keep dominating the SWAC, you don't have parity. You don't have competition. You don't have a driven market. Before, when Deion was there, they created Grio. That's an outrageous contract they put together, right? $12 million for 10 years. When CBS giving out $3.4 billion to the Big Ten, and then the second in command is the SEC, so that you fail to negotiate there. So it's bad contracts all around dealing with HBCUs. And the problem is the presidents are taking the money. The money for to go to the football program, not to the school. The school give them education parts of money, but the money go back to your football program. And then Mr. Ford said a couple nights ago that the SWAC takes 40% from all the schools. That ain't cool, man. There's no way. And now we understand why we're in poverty. So now what should have happened, cool, if Jackson wanted Deion to stay and his assistants, you need your assistants. If they wanted to stay, why didn't the business sector put something together? They had the money. He brought in, if you go back and check the receipts, he brought in over $400 million, Coach. He brought in over $400 million, not just to Jackson State, but to the city and the surrounding areas. They took in what? 2 weeks ago, they took in $35 million just in 2 weeks. So the money's coming in, but the money's going to the wrong departments. You can't get no one of worth will come here if you siphon the money and the money don't go to school. That when he had Buffalo, Colorado, that football money go to Colorado football team. Also, I think he's going to be successful. Why? Colorado sits in the middle of all JUCOs, from Texas to Montana. Deion is surrounded by all the top JUCOs for football and basketball in this country. He sits in the middle of them. So I think he's going to do well. I hope he do well. And I think he's going to throw a ball to HBCUs. I'm going to say they're going but. That's business. But it wasn't about the bad. It's about what was happening behind the scenes. He's battling everybody trying to get something going. And what you do is you have people that's in position is not qualified to handle football matters. And some of your callers, they always talk about coaches and X and O's. You have to explain to them the nuance of business in sports. They don't know that part. Black America is stoop on that part, the business side of nuance in sports. So they don't understand that part. So that's why we get these crazy contracts. So it flows from not just football, entertainment. But this is what they do to it because you have people trying to be negotiators, and that's not what they are, and they don't know the business. That's all I want to say. I think he's going to do well. I think they still have to bring somebody in. It's not just going to be a recruiter, but can he bring resources? That's what made Primetime a game changer. he brought resources. And because he was able to bring resources, other schools benefited from what he was able to bring. He didn't play Morehouse. He didn't play Morehouse. But Morehouse, the president put a video out. I want to thank you, Coach Sanders, because we benefited from what you brought to HBCUs. That's strong, man. That's strong. So I got to announce the work he did, not just for Jackson State, for all HBCUs. Do we want it to be longer? Yes. But his assistant coaches have to eat too. And you're only good as your assistant coaches. So, I want my hats off to him. He did what he did do. He did a lot for HBCUs. And no one did this in the 100 years that HBCUs been operating. No one put them kind of resources in. And if you go over the numbers, Cole, between 2014 and 15, the SWAC and NECAP together lost $128.6 million. In 2016 and 17, they lost $147 million. In 2017 to 18, the SWAC and NECAP lost $150.7 million. In 2019 and 20, the SWAC and NECAP lost $161 million. This is their first profit season since Deion been there. And this is their numbers. Okay. So the man did some good. We got to give the credit what he did. He did some good. Would I like to see him stay longer? Sure. But he's fighting up. Anytime you got people that's in administration position taking the money, doing what they want to do, you're fighting an uphill battle. And that's not how it's supposed to be done. That's all I want to say, brother. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for calling in, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Hey, Coach.
Oh, I hung up. I'm sorry if you're watching. I hung up. Hey, listen. Thank y'all. Thank everybody who tuned in. This is by far the most people that I've had in the live. I think we almost got to 2,000 tonight, man. I got to go to work tomorrow, though. I know a lot of y'all do, too, so I can't stay up too much longer. But I do want to say a lot of content is coming this week since I took a week off and had to end the weekend being with my girl for her birthday. So, because I've been off for a whole week, y'all will get a lot of content this week. Also, coming this week, me, Ken, and Zoe, we will be back for a live show because it's been a while since all three of us been on the live. We're going to be on this channel, and we are going to be talking about who we think should be the next head coach of Jackson State, who we would like to see, whose name has been coming up. We're going to give you all the latest on the search for the next head coach of Jackson State, so look out for that. I know I asked them to do it Friday, and they said they were good for Friday. However, I do FBS Fridays, the panel as well. So I'm gonna have to reschedule that for like a Saturday. I'm gonna see if they good for Saturday. So y'all look out for that on the community tab. But we're gonna be talking about that at the end of this week. But yeah, man. Of course, you're gonna see some content regarding not Jackson State, but Coach Prime in Colorado. I understand how y'all feel about him right now. So if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. But just know it is coming. Of course, content on y'all. I do have to keep y'all updated with the guys that have decommitted because you have decommits now. Don't think those kids who committed early are still there. I need to let y'all know who's still committed to you. The chances that they have of staying. Just look out for all that. All of that will be coming this week. With that being said, though, man, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm out. Peace. I promise I would stay up later with y'all, but bro, I gotta work. I'm sorry. But man, I love y'all, man.